What do I need to do to get Mariana in? I clicked on her name.
Yeah, you don't have the permissions, Maggie. One of them
I think Cypher or Q maybe need to do it. There she is. Okay,
they're on it.
all right, great. Okay, thank you. So everybody is here and thank you. I'm going to ahead and going to reconvene our board meeting and open the open session. I want to start with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we gather at Santa Rosa Junior College on the territorial traditional land of the Pomo people in Santa Rosa and the Coast of Miwok people in Petaluma, past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded it through the generations. And again, welcome. Just a few of the traditional talking points. The Sonoma County Junior College District Board of Trustees will continue to hold all board meetings for the rest of the academic year as scheduled. However, during the current COVID-19 crisis, the board will be conducting meetings via teleconference with board members participating from remote locations. No in-person attendance will be accommodated or permitted. And we thank you for your patience during this time. Our board is committed to the continued education and safety of our students, faculty, staff, and community members. Public comment will be allowed at appropriate times, either during the time for general public comment or during the agendized item. Attendees, please wait to speak until you are allowed to by the host. And of course, trustees, to make a comment, you can use the raise hand function and I will call on you, at which point you can unmute yourself. If you're a presenter, you'll be promoted to a panelist when it is your turn, much like being called to the lectern at physical meetings. You will return to your seats once you have presented. And as always, the board requests that presenters keep all presentations to the following time limits. There is a policy of 3 minutes maximum for public comment with no more than 20 minutes on any one item, 5 minutes for monthly updates, and 8 minutes for board presentations. And since we are meeting remotely, voting, all votes shall be by roll call. So I want to start by saying that there were no reportable actions taken in closed session. I do want to announce just a couple of agenda changes. B7, one of the employee of the month has been canceled and be rescheduled. That was B7. Also, it's been requested. We have a lot of family members and a lot of community members who are attending just here at this meeting for the special presentation and for the employee of the month. So I'm going to ask that we move that ahead of public comment. So we'll do the special presentation and the employee of the month, and then public comment will follow that. And that's the only changes. So now I'm going to move forward with item B2, which is approval of the June special meeting minutes. And I need a motion and a second, please, from the board.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. So we will. So we'll have a roll call vote on B2, approval of the June special meeting minutes.
June trustee McCartney.
Aye.
Trustee Fishman.
Aye.
Trustee Cundy.
Aye.
Trustee Lindy.
Okay.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Battenfeld.
Aye.
Trustee Banyolos.
Aye.
All right. Now moving on to B3. This is approval of the August regular meeting minutes. Again, I need a motion and a second.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote.
Student trustee McCartney.
Aye.
Trustee Banuelos,
Aye.
trustee Fishman,
Aye.
trustee Kandi,
Aye.
trustee Lindley,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Banfeld.
Aye. Okay, thank you. So now we'll move on to the special presentation, and that's going to be by our head football coach, Lenny Wagner.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Jason JT Evans. I am honored to have the opportunity to publicly celebrate the life of Jason Evans, known to his friends and colleagues as JT. I had the pleasure of meeting JT in the summer of 1996 when I started recruiting him to be a student athlete at SRJC. I remember how excited we were to have such a talented and wonderful person to come and represent our football team and college. And when JT arrived in Santa Rosa, he faced many of the challenges that so many of our student athletes face. Food anxiety, homelessness, and one of the biggest ones that a lot of our guys struggle with is really being able to trust people in an unfamiliar place. And having a new family and trying to preach family, you know, that's hard to do sometimes. But very quickly, JT established himself as a leader and model for our players to follow. His ability to check all the day's challenges in at the door and perform at such a high level was truly amazing. Hurdle after hurdle, he just kept going. Many people, unfortunately, give up on their dreams when adversity hits and become hardened souls. Not JT. He showed up each day with a smile on his face, always appreciative of the opportunity, always supportive of his teammates, and always giving you his best effort. Over the years, JT and my family became close. Occasionally, he would come over and help me with projects outside, or just to come over and have him heal. His family just did an unbelievable job and provided just unbelievable love and support that could make such a great guy. JT was a bright shining star that was making a life and successful future for himself. He was remembered by his teammates and coaches as a supportive friend that never gave up. He has his own style and he walked tall, never afraid to be the minority in a conversation and always standing up for what he believed in. He was on his way. After JT's accident, the outlook was not good. The first night, the doctors told us that he might not make it through the night, but in JT style, he wouldn't and couldn't quit. He fought and fought, and to the amazement of the doctors, he somehow just kept going and just kept fighting. And in his final day, I do believe he was at peace, knowing that his efforts and his attitude were the best he could do, the best anyone could do. The last time I saw JT was shortly before he passed away. I'll never forget the moments we shared that night, and I'm grateful that I was able to see him, support him, and say goodbye to him. That night, as the nurses and doctors were watching over him, I heard one of the nurses say that he had a playlist of music that he would like to hear. The nurses brought it in on an iPad and began to set it up. The room was uncomfortable and silent, with the doctors and nurses hovering and the only sounds coming from the medical equipment in the room. And when the doctors started the music, I couldn't help myself but smiling and having a little laugh. I'm not even close to knowing who those artists were on that playlist, and I could not tell you the songs, but what came out of that iPad was truly in JT style, just like all these guys right out here that are getting ready to have a great practice. JT style. I miss my friend very much, and my heart aches for his family. This opportunity today is a chance to honor him and for him to live on forever in the history books of SRJC. So today we honor JT and his family. We honor the man, the friend, the role model, and scholar, JT Strong. We love you, JT. You will be in our hearts forever. Thank you for being such a great example for all of us.
Yeah, what's up live right now? Turn on your radio.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that presentation. All right, next we have our Employee of the Month, and that's going to be presented by Erin Brickert. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you. Board President Battenfeld, trustees, President Chong, and college community. It's my honor to present the Employee of the Month to SRJC's senior designer, Jesse Hilsenrad. While Jesse has only worked in the PR department for a couple of years now, he's worked at the college since 2006, and he began as a student in 1985. In that time, he's made many friends, worked on many projects, and has developed a reputation as a true professional, a master of his craft, and a kind and compassionate colleague. I knew from our first meeting that Jesse would be a great fit for our department. He always provides the highest quality design work and is sure to respect and reflect the college's history and identity in all of his projects. He has also developed a student internship for aspiring graphic artists and helps mentor them as they enter this growing field. He is an example of what makes this college a great place to work and to learn, and is a colleague who genuinely cares about everyone around him. I could go on, but I think I'd rather let Jesse's family, friends, and colleagues show you what I mean. Hit it.
Jesse Hilsenrad, congratulations on being Employee of the Month.
Thank you so much for all the posters you have made.
You're indeed a stellar graphics designer.
Jesse, you rock. And as your sister, I am so proud of you. Here's a quick video of someone special.
Hey, Jesse, this is your mama. I'm so proud. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Jesse. I want to wish you nothing but the best, and thank you for all the support you provide to us here at the Southwest Center. It is always a pleasure. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and students at the Southwest Center, congratulations one more time.
Hi, Jesse. Congratulations on receiving this much-deserved award. It is such a pleasure to work with you, and I'm grateful every single day to have you on our team. Thank you for all you do.
Hi, Jesse. Congratulations on your award, and thank you so much for your dedication and for everything you do to make us look better. It's such a pleasure to work with you.
Thanks, Jesse, for everything you do for us.
Hey, Jesse, this is Jerome from the Music Department. Just want to say thanks for all the great work you've done and to say congrats on your exciting award, Employee of the Month. That's really great. So happy for you, and thanks so much for all that you've done for SRJC Band, Orchestra, Jazz Band, and all the great visuals and all the great photos and all the amazing work you do with all that.
Hey, Jesse, congratulations.
on your Employee of the Month.
Well deserved. Yeah. You have come a long way, my friend. So give Mary and Coltrane our best. Please tell Jeff we said hi, and we miss all of you. Once again, congratulations, Jesse.
Dear Board President Battenfield, trustees, President Chong, and the college community. Thank you everyone for that lovely video. Thank you for the PR team. Thank you to Mary and Coltrane for that beautiful video. I was very touched. I was hoping to write an eloquent, mellifluous speech today, but as Steve Martin once said, some people have a way with words and other people not have way. My K through 12 years were not easy. Rough childhood and undiagnosed ADD were not the best recipes for success in school. When I arrived as a student at SRJC in 1985, I braced myself. I was prepared for a similar experience. To my delight, SRJC was very different. In English classes, Melissa Court's humor and intelligence taught me to be a better writer. And Melissa accompanied our class to see authors such as Kurt Vonnegut and Tom Wolfe, and that was wonderful. In music, Dan Goulart and Bennett Friedman opened my eyes to music performance and composition. It didn't take long for me to love SRJC. One day I was walking through our beautiful campus and I said to myself, it sure would be great to work here someday. To sit here before you, addressing the college community as an employee is a genuine honor for me. My only regret today is that my father-in-law, Irby, couldn't be here to see this. Sorry. Before I conclude, I wanted to say a few short words about teaching. My wonderful mother, Jean, is a teacher. She's here today. My beautiful wife, Mary, she's a teacher and she's here today as well. I hold teachers in the highest regard. Every SRJC employee has chances to teach our students. Whether you're rewiring a network computer or you're pulling weeds, we interact with these students every single day. And while we don't always have a chance to impart academic knowledge in them, I think we should all strive to teach our students the difference between skepticism and cynicism, and to always practice kindness and patience. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and congratulations for a very well-deserved honor, and thank you for everything you do for the JC. Thanks. All right, we're going to now move on to public comment. And again, I want to remind people that the board policy is to allow up to 3 minutes for each speaker, with a maximum of 20 minutes for each subject matter. Most of the requests to speak today concern agenda item E5. And as you can understand, if every speaker takes the full 3 minutes, the 20 minutes won't allow everyone to speak. So I am going to request that speakers try as hard as they can to keep your comments to a 2-minute limit. That way the board can hear more people. I really want to do my best to let everyone who wants to speak, speak. We are going to make it easier, hopefully, for people to keep time. You will see a timer on the screen to assist you. It will start flashing yellow when you hit the 2.5 minute, and hopefully, if you haven't finished by then, you will begin to wrap up, and that no one will be speaking past the red stop at 3 minutes. So hopefully that will make it easier. And again, if you're interested in speaking to the board on agenda item E5, you can speak during this regular public comment section, but you can also speak when we are going to address the item by the board. That's when we're going to have most of our public comment, but not both. I am going to limit this initial public comment period to about 20 minutes so that we can move on with the rest of the agenda. But then, as I said before, we'll be taking lots of additional public comment when E5 comes up on the agenda later in the meeting. There was the option to submit comments by email or by phone. We do have several people who have already signed up in advance, and I just kind of put people in the order in which they signed up. If you do have a public comment, what you need to do is raise your hand. It's the button on the bottom of your screen. If you're dialing in for the meeting, you need to use *9 on your phone to raise your hand. And again, please remember to state your full name for the minutes, and especially since in this initial public comment section, if you could let us know so that it's clear with the board what agenda item you're speaking on, or if you're speaking on an item that's not on the board agenda that you want to give us comment on. So I'm going to start public comment. The first person I have on my list is Jane Saldana-Talley.
All right, thank you, Board President Battenfeld, members of the board, Dr. Chong, college community. I'm Jane Saldana-Talley. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs, and this pandemic has taken away many of our normal traditions. And one of the ones that I used to enjoy so much was when we got an opportunity to introduce our newest faculty to the board, very often in person, so that you could connect and they could connect with you real time. So we're going to do the pandemic version of this. And we hired a group of stellar new faculty that began teaching in fall of 2021. And I would like to just very quickly introduce them to you. You have received a copy of the new faculty directory that has been assembled with the help of human resources. It gives you details on all of them. But right now, what I would really like for you to do is to at least see their smiling faces. So next slide, thank you. I'd like you to meet Dr. Eric Atkinson. He joined the English department and he is working in Santa Rosa.
Wait when the public speakers come.
Next slide, please. This is Professor Amaya Bella. She is in the kinesiology, athletic, and dance program, specifically the yoga teacher training program in Petaluma. Next slide. This is Professor Sheila Cunningham. She is with the Library and Information Resources Department, and she's in the Mahoney Library in Petaluma. This is Dr. Kruti Darji, who is in the mathematics department, and she is teaching in Petaluma. This is Professor Andrew Ebner. He's with the Industrial and Trade Tech department, and he is working in Santa Rosa. This is Professor Manuel Flores, otherwise known as Manny. He's in the Biological Sciences program, and he's teaching in Santa Rosa. This is Professor Kimberly Kinahan. She is in the Work Experience Department, and she is working in both Santa Rosa and in Petaluma. This is Professor Lori Lewis. She is in the Mathematics Department, and she is teaching in Santa Rosa. And last of the few, this is Professor Tiffany Lundquist. She is in the Health Sciences Department, and she is teaching in Santa Rosa. This is Professor Christine McLarty. She is also in health sciences. They're both in two different disciplines, and she is teaching in Santa Rosa. This is Professor Deyanira Morales, who is in the World Languages Department, and she is teaching in Santa Rosa. This is Professor Colleen Scott Trivet, who is with the Theater Arts Department in Santa Rosa. This is Professor Christopher Sinicki. He is in the art department and he is teaching in Petaluma. And lastly, this is Professor Ivan Turqui. He is in philosophy and he is teaching in Santa Rosa. Those are our new faculty for 2021-22. I wish you could meet them in person. You will meet them in person sometime soon. But at any rate, let's all celebrate them for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome, welcome to all our new faculty. Happy to have you here working with our students. All right, next public comment is Robert Holcomb. Robert, are you here?
I'm here. Trying to, I'm here, okay. Trying to get my camera on, but here we go. Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Chong, college community. I'd like to share that this week is National Hispanic Serving Institutions Week, as designated by HACU, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. The purpose of HSI Week is to raise awareness and advocacy around HSI institutions, educational programming, support services, the target student population, and broader Latinx community. Toward that end, I'd like to highlight a few key points about our current HSI program and Lanzamiento initiative. This semester, we have over 1,300 students enrolled in 47 Lanzamiento course sections. Lanzamiento students have dedicated access to a variety of grant resources: embedded tutoring, peer mentorship, library support, mental health services, financial aid workshops, counseling, transfer center programming, and cultural events, including a Latinx lecture series. Moreover, each of these areas is adopting new strategies and a new lens towards serving students. Lanzamiento instructors join together in thematic communities of practice through which they can engage in robust dialogue, bold envisioning, actionable steps toward equity at SRJC. Lanzamiento faculty work closely with HSI faculty coordinator Laura Larque and other members of the HSI implementation team. So the Lanzamiento initiative is up and running at SRJC, but the question is whether or not it's working to improve educational outcomes for the target population. And the year one data is in, and it suggests that it is, but it's nuanced. So I'd love the opportunity to come back, possibly in the spring, with my colleague, Laura Larque, and provide a full presentation of year one grant activities, measurable outcomes, performance indicators, and a glimpse into year two. Meanwhile, I just want to wish everyone a happy HSI week. I'm proud of SRJC's commitment as a Hispanic serving institution. Lanzamiento, together we launch. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on my list, I have Brenda Flies with Hawks. Dr. Flies with Hawks.
Good afternoon, President Battenfield, trustees, President Chong, and college community. I'm Dr. Brenda Flies with Hawks, and I'm here today to speak regarding COVID-19 vaccine mandate for SRJC. I respectfully implore the Board of Trustees to follow the example set by UC, Cal State, LA Community College Board of Trustees, Fresno, Chaffee, Los Rios, Rio Hondo, College of Marin, San Mateo Community College District, LA City College, and countless others to immediately approve and implement a similarly science-based, evidence-based, safety-based COVID-19 vaccine mandate. This is not only clearly needed, but also already in place in so many other environments within our shared educational and professional systems. I urge you to make the responsible decision and approve a mandate for COVID-19 vaccination with legal limited exemptions for all SRJ employees and students with immediate implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Laura Larque. Laura. Is Laura here? Larque?
I am.
There you are. Okay, welcome.
Thank you. I was having a hard time learning how to turn on my microphone. Esteemed Board of Trustees, President Dr. Chong, my name is Laura Larque, and I am a history instructor, but I am here today not as a faculty member, but as an employee of SRJC. I implore you to make the decision to require vaccinations for everyone at SRJC, students, staff, faculty, and administrators. There needs to be a program to make sure everyone is following the policies established by the health department. We also need to have a culturally oriented education program on the one that benefits that when people take it, how beneficial the COVID vaccine is. We should promote vaccines in our communities of color and work to empower them to promote vaccines in our community. We need to find solutions to the problems we are facing, because it seems that there is much confusion. We as a collective working group need to find the best solutions for everyone. Again, the mandatory vaccine is not a frivolous demand. These are life and death decisions. I have heard of many frustrating situations happening on both campuses with the college's return to campus process not being followed. This needs to be improved as well for the college to be safe. If we have a vaccine mandate and properly implement that return to campus guidelines, SRJC will be a place where we all feel safe. Perhaps not everyone will agree with the mandatory COVID vaccine, but we will be in a safer place, as safe as we can be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see, I have one more person on my list who signed up ahead of time, and that is Emily Schmidt. Emily, are you here?
I am here, and I'm not sure how to turn my camera on. That's okay. I have a statement to read. My name is Emily Schmidt. I'm adjunct faculty in Humanities and Religion Department. First, I ask that the board announce how many people are attending today's session, and I ask that you consider more time for public comment on the topic of the vaccine mandate if necessary. I'm speaking personally in favor of a vaccine mandate as soon as a reasonable time frame will allow full vaccination. Weekly testing has proven insufficient to limit the spread of the virus in other settings. In a recent New York Times op-ed, leadership of the ACLU writes that, and I quote, "Vaccines are a justifiable intrusion on autonomy and bodily integrity. We all have the fundamental right to bodily integrity and to make our own healthcare decisions, but these rights are not absolute. They do not include the right to inflict harm on others." End quote. And they also refer to the precedent-setting Supreme Court case Prince v. Massachusetts, which ruled, and I quote again, "The right to practice religion freely does not include liberty to expose the community or the child to communicable disease or the latter to ill health or death." End quote. Many of us have immunocompromised people in our families, and they are among our faculty, staff, students, and their families. The consensus among epidemiologists, medical doctors, and scientists is that the vaccine is safe and effective at limiting the spread of the virus and the severity of symptoms in the rare case of breakthrough infection. Please, as soon as possible, enforce a vaccine mandate, with the exceptions only for those with medical exemptions verified by a licensed medical doctor. And speaking now as an academic senator for Area 12, I'd like to report that I have heard from 30 of my constituent faculty members who strongly support a vaccine mandate and express concern for personal and public health. And I have heard from 2 constituent faculty members who strongly oppose a vaccine mandate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, I have 3 more people on my list for this general public comment, and then I'm assuming that I will close the general public comment after these 3 people speak, and then that other people will be signing up when we get to E5. So thank you. Next is Ann Donegan.
Thank you, President Battenfield, Board of Trustees, President Chong, and college community. My name is Ann Donegan, and I teach history in the Social Sciences Department. I'm here today to speak to this group to urge our trustees to support a vaccine mandate here at SRJC. We are a college. We are an institution of higher education. Science, critical thinking, and reason should be valued and supported. In a pandemic, these things should be our guide as to how decisions are to be made. We have experts here at SRJC that should be consulted as to how to implement the vaccine mandate and the safety protocols properly. Faculty who teach in the life and health sciences are experts in their fields and should be at the table when decisions about how to prevent the spread of this horrible virus are discussed. please, like so many students, faculty, and staff, I urge you to vote to approve the vaccine mandate. I also want to take a minute to applaud some of my administrative colleagues who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to try to keep us safe. As many as you know, the safety protocols have not been implemented properly here at the college. There are not enough safety monitors on duty, students are not checking in or doing pre-screening health checks, nor are all students consistently wearing masks. In a word, it is chaotic. But there are deans who recognize this and have stepped in as safety monitors to try to better this difficult situation. Deans like Tammy Sakanashi, Matt Markovich, Victor Tam, and Kathy Prince have spent countless hours helping students and faculty members orient themselves with these new protocols so that we will all be safer in our classrooms. It was evident on the first day of school, that the safety measures described in the district's Safe Return to Campus pamphlet were not in place. So these deans, and I'm sure there were others, right? But these are the 4 that I'm aware of, spent most of the first day of school, in fact, most of the first week, helping students and faculty members. They stopped doing their doing work to do this work because it was so important. They stayed early and stayed late. They didn't clock out at 5 p.m. and go home or go somewhere else. Because of this emergency, they stayed on campus to help make sure we were safe. SRJC needs more leaders who don't leave campus when safety protocols are not in place. We need leaders to stick around and make sure that these protocols are in place. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. All right, next on my list, and please correct me if I mispronounce your name, but Nehemiah Scandera.
Hello, thank you. Yes, my name is Nehemiah Scandera. I am an engineering student at Santa Rosa Junior College. I'm here to speak against the notion of a vaccine mandate. I acknowledge the fact that science behind vaccines is clear and they have proven to be effective. However, this fact does not take away from the personal choices of 35% of Sonoma County individuals ages 16 to 24 who are not fully vaccinated. I'm glad that this board is good at doing its job and making decisions that maintain equality for all Santa Rosa Junior College students. I think it is clear that operating on the premise that approximately 35% of students should be denied the right to make personal health choices is not a good decision, or even ignoring the 26% of individuals who have not received any COVID-19 vaccinations. Regardless of whether the unvaccinated individuals' decisions appear rational to this board, I believe you have an obligation to respect these students' personal health choices. These decisions, I can tell you with certainty, are not taken lightly. I leave with this thought. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." I acknowledge the fact that leaders have suggested this is not a matter of freedom. However, liberty and equality go hand in hand. The choice between equality and personal safety is made over and over again by our nation's heroes, and we know the choice that they made. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Yarrow Swenningson. Yarrow, are you here?
Yes, thank you. Dear college community, members of the board, Board President Battenfeld, and Dr. Chong, I need to start with a disclaimer. The fact that I need to say this should raise alarm bells. I'm a lifelong leftist. I'm not a right-wing extremist or any other label that is slapped upon anyone who disagrees with party orthodoxy. I'm here to ask that you reject any form of mandates. Under the Nuremberg Code, coercion, i.e. comply or lose your job, is not consent and is a human rights violation. Mandates violate the Constitution and our sacred God-given right to bodily sovereignty. I've sent you separate correspondence detailing the voluminous science that obliterates rationalizations for vaccine mandates. But I come before you now to appeal to your humanity. I have given nearly 25 years, more than half of my life, to service to this community. I love working here. I love my department, my management, and the culture of inclusivity and open-mindedness that the college has always exemplified. The experience of the last year and a half has ground us all down. We all want this madness to end, some of us seemingly by any means necessary. History shows what happens when a society becomes so polarized that common humanity is eroded. I spoke in a recent union meeting about the dangers of accepting mandates and was berated by my own union rep as a paranoid right-wing conspiracy theorist. I was told that hard mandates are coming one way or another and that those of us who do not comply will be ostracized from society. I was dehumanized and my valid concerns went unaddressed. Those who voiced concerns following me were similarly railroaded. What is happening to us? Is this really who we are becoming as a college community? Do we really think that the ugliest parts of human history won't repeat when we are already at the point of such casual, heartless dehumanization? These vaccines are proving to be dangerous on a scale that we've never seen before, especially for young people. The truth will eventually come out. Pfizer has projected profits of $35 billion for 2021 alone. If these mandates pass, they will have a captive market for annual or biannual COVID shots. Millions of people around the world are facing water cannons and police dogs and truncheons to stand up against this new form of fascism. They will prevail in the end. I've received a lot of private support from people thanking me for giving voice to concerns that they share but are afraid to speak due to fear of social and professional reprisal. To those listening who have concerns, I understand your reluctance, but now is the time to speak. Our children deserve to hear your voice. To those listening who support these mandates out of a desire to return to normal, your unvaccinated colleagues are not holding your freedoms for ransom. The government is. If the vaccines work, then you are protected and you should already be free to live a normal life. To the board, please stand on the right side of history and reject division, dehumanization, and dangerous mandates. Stand for liberty, sovereignty.
Thank you, Yarrow.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to we have time for one more speaker, Rachel Nix, and then everyone else who is on the list, unless you are speaking on an item that's not E5, I'm going to move you to when we get to that item. So Rachel Nix.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Oh, great. I would like to speak in favor of no mandates regarding employment. And the reason for that is specific health concerns individuals might have. And also principles. I really don't think any organization should be telling anybody what to put in their body. And the reason for that is that we are still discovering what these vaccines do to people. So I'm just going to tell you my personal experience and what I found out about the vaccine from that. I had my second Moderna vaccine through the college on July 1st, and I experienced extreme disruption to my menstrual cycle that same month. I had no idea what was going on because that was not part of the information I was provided at the time of the vaccine. And I only found out after I had all these symptoms that this is a common thing women experience. And so common that the National Institutes of Health are funding 1.6 million in research into how the vaccines affects women's menstrual cycle. We're also hearing about adverse heart events. And my roommate experienced such adverse heart events, his chest pain and blood pressure spikes following his vaccination that he had to go to the ER. And we're seeing young men, especially being affected with swelling of the heart following this vaccine. There's still a lot we don't know about what this vaccine does. There's adverse events like changes to menstrual cycle that weren't even asked about in the initial trial. Vioxx is an example of a medication that was FDA approved and had to be pulled from the market years after being approved because it came out years after the fact that people were having heart attacks from this anti-inflammatory medication. So I'd really urge the college to be cautious here and not force people to choose between safeguarding their own health against possible adverse events and keeping their livelihood. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to close our general public comment. And again, we'll continue to allow public comment for all the as agenda items come up. And now we're going to move on to monthly updates, and we're going to start with the Schoen Farm Foundation. Trustee Cundy.
Thank you, Dorothy. The Schoen Farm Foundation met September 1st. The topics that were discussed, the Schoen Farm Foundation Board met September 1st at 3 o'clock on a Zoom. The board welcomed Dr. Liz Tosh from the Sonoma State University Wine Business Institute as the new chairwoman of the Schoen Farm Foundation Board of Directors. Benjamin Goldstein introduced Pat Henderson as the new consulting winemaker for Schoen Farm Winery. Pat was formerly chief winemaker for Kenwood Vineyards. Pat also teaches the fall winery operations course in the SRJC Wine Studies program. This arrangement is helping to further integrate students into the commercial winery operations, providing them with valuable hands-on learning experiences. Wine Studies Facility Program Coordinator, Dr. Kevin C. and Benjamin Goldstein secured a $186,000 Strong Workforce Program grant to equip the new tasting room to teach students tasting room operations and management in the real world setting. Fundraising for the tasting room construction is approximately 50% complete. The 2021 grape harvest is underway and quality and yields look good. Fiscal year 2020 ended with a $25,000 net profit. And this concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Next, we have the Ad Hoc Racial Justice Committee report with Trustee Martinez.
Yes, so we met last month, August 12th. We didn't meet quorum. We actually just did a listening session from our Disabilities Resource Center on campus. And so we did that, and we also had a discussion around the intersectionality of our services and who they serve. And we have established sort of the themes that we will be discussing throughout the next meetings. And our next meeting will be in October. And we will be adding a new student who did apply, and we are in the middle of getting that student with all the details to join us at the next meeting in October. That's it.
Thank you. All right, now we have the Ad Hoc Provisional Appointment Committee, Trustee Fishman.
Hi, good afternoon. The Ad Hoc Committee, which is Trustee Lindley, Trustee Battenfeld, and myself. I'm sorry, I have a fly that's landing on my nose. We met and we reviewed our bylaws to make sure that we understood all of our legal requirements for notification and to make sure they were met. The committee wants to throw a big net in terms of notification of this vacancy for the 7th district. So social media has been incorporated in a cross-section of community organizations, publications in the West County. The 7th district covers mostly Western Sonoma County up to Sea Ranch, in fact, and a minor part of the Pioneer Olivet School District. I tell you this in case you know someone who lives in that area that may indeed want to serve. We also discussed the application and our process and our timeline. The deadlines for application are this Friday, September 17th. On September 20th, the committee will meet to review applications to make sure the candidates qualify to serve. You need to be 18 years old and live in the district. We'll be checking addresses and we'll be writing our interview questions. We will have a special board meeting. It will be a public meeting. So I encourage you to attend, where we will interview candidates, and the board will publicly vote that day for a new member to the Board of Trustees. Now, the dates I've given you, like I said, we want to extend the net as well as we can. We may indeed decide to extend our application deadline, so look for that information. We will notify you if that indeed is the case. Mostly want to make sure that you understand that there will be a special board meeting, your chance to watch us interview the candidates for the position. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I am now going to give the Board Finance Committee report. The Board Finance Committee met on September 10th, 2021. The only agenda item was the 2021 to 22 adopted budget. The committee went through the budget book, discussing the revenue and expense budget assumptions, the 2021 ending financial information, and the proposed adopted budget for this year, 21-22, for the different various funds, as well as we got updates on the long range plan. There will be a presentation this afternoon to present the budget to the full board for approval. So that's my report. Now we have the college president report, Dr. Chong.
Thank you, President Battenfeld. In today's agenda, there's an item for board approval for the 2022-23 academic calendar. Because we anticipate there might be questions from our community about why the Cesar Chavez / Dolores Huerta and Juneteenth holidays have not been included, we thought it would be helpful to let everyone know that we haven't forgotten about those holidays, nor the considerable advocacy regarding including them into our academic calendar. I've personally spoken to Laura Lackey of LSFA, and I rest assured we are working on this. And once we have worked out the technical difficulties and negotiating the impacts and effects of these proposed additions, we will bring the 2022-2023 academic calendar back to the board for reconsideration and approval. I also want to announce the State Chancellor's Office has given us a partial approval for an extension on our fire waiver. Our cabinet is reviewing and analyzing the conditions for the approval, and we'll be giving you a briefing at the October board meeting. We've received some, I think, excellent press coverage. SRJC was on Channel 5 featuring what SRJC is doing to help Black and Brown students during the COVID crisis. And I think it was a very great testimonial to particularly our student services folks and all the work the library, the IT department, and our student center is doing in terms of providing for food insecurity. And I'm just really proud of all the work that's being done in that area. Also, the PD featured our fire resiliency program that just started at Schoen Farm. I want to give kudos to Aaron Bricker and Benjamin Goldstein for helping us on that. There's also, we've been lobbying for more state funding to help fund our student residence hall, and that is in the works. We are working with lobbyists. We're working with Senator McGuire's office to see about receiving additional funding, because $4 billion have been set aside for student housing for higher education. And we want to make sure that the JC receive its fair share. Speaking of the student residence hall, we will be doing a groundbreaking on Friday, October 22nd from 3 to 5 p.m. Near the site of the new residence hall, and the college community is all invited. It's a celebration and acknowledgement of all of our internal partners, the advisory committee that worked on it, that comprised of board members, administrators, faculty, staff, and students. It was really a collective effort to get it this far, and we want to acknowledge and appreciate all of their fine efforts. And let me see, Measure O funding, the quarter-cent sales tax for mental health funding. I testified in front of the Board of Supervisors last week, and I'm pleased to say that they approved the budget for SRJC. I think we're going to receive approximately $805,000 to support mental health services for SRJC students. I think this is going to be a game changer. I want to publicly acknowledge Bert Epstein, Director of Student Health Services, Robert Ethington, Pedro Avila, Kate
Jolly, and all who supported us, and the foundation and Jay Molyneux. And I think this is something that's going to provide much needed mental health services to all of our students, particularly first generation underrepresented students, and also at other sites other than the Santa Rosa campus. We pledge to have services there at the Petaluma and Southwest and other sites as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Bond and Measure H update with Serafin Fernandez.
Thank you and good afternoon, President Badenfeld, members of the board, President Chong, and esteemed SRJC community. Let me work on my, here we go. Before I go into my project update reports, I do want to share with the community and the board some of our improved communications program. We have done Capital Projects has done a soft launch of our new website, as well as initiated a social media campaign that includes Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are trying to communicate on a weekly basis with the community the ongoings of the various construction projects. So I encourage everybody to follow us, and then also to read for more details of our projects on our monthly newsletter. With that said, I'll go into our monthly updates at Schoen Farm. The Ag Portables project is in the process of pouring concrete on the outdoor courtyard of the new portables. That construction progress is going pretty well thanks to the weather that's benefiting our project. At the Santa Rosa campus, the Garcia Hall renovation, the roof installation renovation work is now complete. We have experienced significant amount of hazardous materials in the building, so we've had to do additional abatement, and we're just about complete with that now. The Central Plant project, we are now 100% complete with all the underground utility work, so that should minimize the disruption to traffic around campus. We're in the process of erecting the building now and installing some of the equipment. The microgrid project, we have now installed the new microgrid batteries. That equipment is now being commissioned, and we're almost done with this microgrid. We will be doing testing starting next month on the system, and we'll put out messages to the community letting them know of shutdowns that may be taking place, so we can test and make sure that the microgrid is actually working. For the CAT project, the baseball field, the turf is now complete, and you don't see it on this picture, but the softball turf is almost complete as well. At Bailey Field, the new field house framing is all complete, and we're now installing plumbing and mechanical rough-in inside the building. As part of the upgrades to the Bailey Field, we have also completed the installation of new bleachers for the home team, as well as a new press box. The swimming pool support building walls are complete. And again, this is another project that's taking advantage of good weather for construction. For the Tucker Gym renovation project, I wanted to bring to your attention that DSA is now requiring us to do a full seismic upgrade of the building. So this is requiring additional design services from a structural engineer. And you'll see one of the items on your agenda today is to approve an amendment to TLCD Architects in order to do this work. This will also most likely increase the cost of construction for the project. Once we determine that, I will bring that back to you for your information and approval. At the Lindley Center for STEM Education project, the ground improvement is now complete, and construction of the new foundation for the building has actually started. On the Scholars Drive improvements, we are about 90% complete with this work. The pictures are from last week, but since then we've actually installed the paving and also stripe the new parking in that area. Landscaping is actually, we're going to hold on the landscaping till the end of the project so that we can do all of the landscaping at one time. But the areas will be cordoned off in a way that individuals will not be able to go in and disturb the landscape or the future to be landscaped areas. But the sidewalks and parking will be available probably starting next week. Bertolini Student Health Services Tenant Improvement Program. Again, we are consolidating student health services, which currently reside at Reyes and Plover. They will have a new home at on the third floor of Bertolini. Framing of the new walls in the area is now in progress, and we anticipate this project to be complete in November with the department moving in at the end of the year. District-wide security upgrades project is going very well. We're actually complete with the work at both the Petaluma and the Public Safety Training Center, and we are now working at the Santa Rosa campus. We are scheduled to complete by May, but again, we're making really good progress on the project, and we may be able to bring this one in earlier as well. As Dr. Chong mentioned, the student housing project has now started. I'll be bringing you construction updates on the project on a monthly basis. And just to remind you, we're located at the corner of Elliott and Airport Drive, Armory Drive. White's Construction has mobilized, and they have actually started some demolition of the old parking lot on the site. And there is a groundbreaking ceremony that's scheduled again for October 22nd. So we look forward to seeing many of you at this live event. On your agenda, you have 6 items to approve from us. There's a change order number 3 for Earthstone Construction for the Schoen Farm Produce Processing Facility. That will bring the total change orders for this project to 5.06%. The Towser Gym renovation, again, I mentioned the amendment for the design team here in order to incorporate the seismic upgrade. It also includes a full renovation or redesign rather of parking lot C and other minor updates that we have to do to the building that were discovered from the first phase of design. The microgrid project is purchasing some equipment, a low shed breaker modification. The security upgrade project, we have 1 change order to include the upgrade of all of the elevators in the district. This is something that was not originally included in the scope of this project, but it is something that is desperately needed. This will bring our change orders to 5.54%. Another change order at Schoen Farm for the Ag Portables. This is for the contractor. This will bring total change orders to 2.68%. And then our final change order for the Button Foundation demolition project. Again, this is another request made by the city in order for us to get sign off on our final permit there. This will bring our final change orders to this project to 6%. This concludes my report unless you have any questions.
Do you have any questions from the board? Okay. Thank you very much. Next, we have our site update, and this month it is Southwest Center with Hector Delgado. Welcome.
Just give me 1 second here. I'm trying to connect my camera.
That's fine.
All right, let me get the PowerPoint. All right. President Battenfield, members of the board, Dr. Chong, college community, it is an honor to provide you with the Southwest Center update this evening. The Southwest Center collaborated with public relations to develop a fall 2021 registration flyer to promote non-credit classes. It was disseminated to over 70 contacts that include school districts, community-based organizations, and County of Sonoma offices. The Southwest Center also collaborated with PR and Design Guild to develop the Southwest Center logo, color identity, and mantra, empowering through education. Our non-credit students and community have well received it. The strategic enrollment outreach efforts in early summer led to a busy fall 2021 registration cycle. This fall, the Southwest Center has enrolled 255 more students than fall 2020 in non-credit ESL courses. Over 35 mid-semester college skills GED prep and non-credit ESL classes will start at the end of October, and registration for these courses will begin early October. With these sections left to fill, it is anticipated we will see an increase in enrollment by the end of this term. The adult English language learner and immigrant community is adapting to remote and hybrid instruction. We may continue to see large number of potential students seeking registration in our non-credit programs. I want to acknowledge the Southwest Center Student Services Office staff excellent work to ensure our non-credit students receive all the support they need to enroll successfully. These staff members are Erica Moreno Pratt, Student Success Technician, Marianne Clark, Student Success Specialist 1, Graciela Manzanares, Student Success Specialist, Student Success Technician, to many Student Success, and our last is our counselor, Margarita Gonzalez Jordan. Without their continued flexibility, adaptability, and support, our non-credit students will not succeed with their academic goals. At the beginning of the pandemic, it was decided to centralize registration services at the Southwest Center for non-credit students across the district. To this end, the Southwest Center collaborated with Admissions and Records at the Petaluma campus, DRD, and the Office of Student Outreach at the Santa Rosa campus. The two staff members on the slide, Guadalupe Quiroz, testing specialist from the Petaluma campus, and Carmen Quiroz, testing specialist from Santa Rosa campus, have been instrumental in helping the Southwest Center with registration, distribution of supplies, and vaccine clinic events. They have gone above and beyond to ensure this equity among non-credit students. The Southwest Center has been working closely with the district to establish a COVID-19 safety check-in area. All the in-person classes and other study space in one building made it easy to have one single point of entry, allowing us to monitor all the students entering the site. This fall, the Southwest Center welcomed 8 faculty and 134 students in 8 in-person classes. The students have expressed their excitement by letting us know how appreciative they are to be back on campus for face-to-face instruction. The Southwest Center hosted its 5th annual Welcome Day with a drive-through event and several virtual workshops on financial aid, study skills, know your rights, and a panel with former non-credit ESL students. For the drive-through event, 154 students participated and 70 students have attended the virtual workshops. The success of the Welcome Day drive-through event was made possible by participation from members of the Student Government Assembly, SGA, faculty, classified professionals, and managers. I want to acknowledge and thank SIJC's SGA President, De La Che Carmona Benson, for donating gift bags for the drawing. De La Che has been a strong advocate and supporter for Southwest Center students. Her support is beyond appreciated. This concludes the Southwest Center update. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, our last monthly update, but not least, student trustee report, Anitra McCartney.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. This month, I just want to first start off by saying that I agree with the SGA's endorsement of the vaccination. And I do believe that students, in order to keep ourselves safe, we do need to take precautions. And me working as a safety monitor on campus and seeing how students are basically taking care of themselves now, I don't know if it'll be enough to keep the whole population safe coming the next semesters. So I just wanted to say that I believe that we should require the vaccinations. And I do understand all of the other concerns of everyone having their freedom when it comes to their choice. And I don't disregard that in any matter. And I think that everyone deserves a choice. But I think in order to keep ourselves safe, we do need precautions. So, and SGA in general, and I've just been getting a lot of feedback from not only faculty, but students I've come into contact with, and I've just been asking around the opinions of theirs. And me, I have my own opinions because I come from a country that is suspicious and has their beliefs about not getting vaccinated, but I'm also from a third world country where it's not as available to everyone. A lot of people are getting sick. There's not hospitals on every island. So I do think that it is affecting like people who's in the minority, you know, and I think that we should do something about it for our future. But that was all I had to report.
Thank you, Anitra. All right, do we have any board member comments? Anyone have anything they want to say? Okay, I just want to briefly make a couple of announcements. I mentioned at the last meeting that as part of our board self-evaluation last year, we decided to review our board self-evaluation process and forms. And I am going to appoint an ad hoc committee at this meeting. It's going to be chaired by Trustee Banuelos, and it will include Trustee Martinez and Trustee Fishman. And again, their charge is going to be to review our board self-evaluation process and forms, so that we have better forms and process so that we can be a more effective board, because that's the purpose of our self-evaluation. And I'm going to ask them to bring back recommendations to the board by February 2022. I also, Dr. Chong mentioned the Wildlife Resilience Program. And again, I wanted to give a big thanks to our Board of Supervisors for supporting the JC and for allocating that money for the program. From the county budget. It's a great help and it's a great program. And I also really just want to give a thanks to our federal and state elected representatives for their support of community colleges and SRJC in this last legislative session. It just ended. And I know they worked really hard with us to make sure that we have some continuation funding, that we have our COLA, and that we have a lot of important new funding, including for housing, some good policies to support community colleges. So if you meet any of our elected officials or you see them, please, again, tell them thank you for supporting community colleges and supporting education. And lastly, nobody's mentioned it, but please, if for some reason you haven't voted, please vote today. The polls close at 8 p.m. and it's not too late to vote and to go turn in your ballot if you forgot. So that's my comments. All right. And if there are no other board member comments, we will move on to reports, starting with the Academic Senate. Julie Thompson.
Okay, thank you, Board President Battenfeld, trustees, Dr. Chong, members of the community. The 2021-22 Academic Senate is already extremely busy this year. We've had 2 meetings, an additional special meeting devoted to public comments to provide more opportunity for the college community to address the Senate, and a professional development workshop on faculty equivalency with a presenter from the Academic Senate for California Community Colleges. Additional upcoming professional development workshops facilitated by the statewide Senate include one on curriculum and DEIA, which diversity, equity, inclusion, and anti-racism, one on assessing student learning outcomes, and one on the 10+1 parliamentary procedure and the Brown Act. We announced these workshops to the college community and all are welcome to attend. And I'd like to thank those who were guests at our training on equivalency a couple of weeks ago, so thank you. Additionally, we have a class of 14 new tenure track colleagues, as Dr. Saldana Talley said earlier in the meeting. They have been oriented via Zoom and paired with faculty mentors. And I would like to thank the many faculty colleagues who offered to mentor our new faculty members. It was a delight and a surprise to facilitate the pairing of mentors and mentees, matching people's professional and personal interests hiking, art, good food, music, a lot of other things. So I learned things about my old and new colleagues. And I just want to say welcome to our new contract faculty hires. Also, I have an update on our faculty hiring policy. At its last meeting, the Senate approved the addition of a values statement to this policy. This values statement is a beautiful blending of the Senate's commitments to discipline expertise, teaching excellence, demonstrated application of DEIA pedagogy, and the social and communication skills that enable those we hire to work with people from a wide range of cultures and experiences. I anticipate the Senate's approval of a final draft of this policy very soon. It will then be forwarded for board consideration, and work on the faculty hiring procedure will continue, and the Senate is moving along at a good clip this semester. I would also like to thank the trustees for being receptive to faculty input on the vaccine issue. While the narrow question of vaccines lies outside the Senate's areas of responsibility, it has implications for many, if not all, of the items in the 10+1, which codifies Senate purview. The impact on faculty professional matters, academic programs, development of the course schedule, student registration, and student learning is profound. And it is not just the question of whether to have a vaccine requirement that the Senate is paying attention to. Senators and other faculty members care very much about the manner in which executive decisions are made, and that clear, reliable, timely information is shared with the faculty. Sound processes regarding decision-making and communication contribute to institutional stability, which supports every employee in the work that we need to do. Finally, I've learned that the college is initiating its strategic planning process. This is an exciting project, and I know that I speak not only for myself, but many other faculty members when I say that I look forward to participating. I served on the college's last strategic planning process, which was co-chaired by Dr. Jane Saldana-Talley, who was then vice president of the Petaluma campus, and the academic senate at the time, President Dr. Robin Fotley. This co-chair structure was created to reflect the academic senate's role in planning as codified in Ed Code. I am hopeful that our strategic planning process will share essential characteristics with the last planning process, that the academic senate will play its appropriate role. The process will be widely inclusive, and our process will once again create a plan that reflects the vision that all of us have for this college that we love. As the Academic Senate President, I look forward to partnering with the administration from the earliest steps in this process. This new strategic planning process is also an opportunity for us as a college to take on a significant project informed by recent district-wide professional learning facilitated by the Partnership Resource Team, the PERT process and visit, and the funding that the college received through the PERT process to apply towards one of our PERT goals, which is preparing our governance structures so that they respect each group's areas of responsibility, reduce conflict, and support a more efficient work life. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you to the Senate and the Senate's Executive Committee, and also to Vice Presidents Saldana-Talley and Jolly, who have worked closely with me in support of Senate priorities throughout the summer and this year. So thank you. That ends my report.
Thank you. Classified Senate report, Debbie Weatherly. Debbie.
Good afternoon, President Battenfield, Board of Trustees, Dr. Chong, and colleagues. First, I'd like to say congratulations to Jesse Hilsenrad as Employee of the Month. Well done and well deserved. Classified Senate voted unanimously to endorse LFAS on their resolution to initiate a new holiday on our calendar in honor of Cesar Huerta for their contributions to the undeserved community, underserved community they represented, and changes that were the outcome of their unrelenting voice. We urge you to approve their request as our SRJC board. And thank you, Dr. Chong, for mentioning this previously. I've continued to be in communication with the contact person, Janet Noel, with IEBC, the Institute for Evidence-Based Change, on the status of SRJC being considered for the Caring Campus grant. She has assured me that they will hit the ground running as soon as they get the clarification from the Chancellor's office on the current criteria required for colleges to be eligible to apply and the go-ahead to begin recruiting. This would be beneficial to our classified professionals as well as our students. Evidence suggests enrollment and retention increases with the changes and training implemented through Caring Campus. I have begun the process of vetting our 10+1 resolution with our various constituent groups, beginning with the Academic Senate, with hopes of having it ready for presentation to the board soon. I also will be preparing an addendum to the town hall presentation on shared governance that will be included on the current video. This video was initiated through our recent partnership resource team, PRT visit, and funding made available through them. This addendum will simply clarify why classified senates exist and the current laws that are in place. I too want to mention the strategic planning, and that it's being scheduled Thursdays at 3 o'clock, which is the same time as our college council meeting. And our VPs all meet at that time. And the Senate presidents and those types of people are in that meeting. So having the strategic planning meetings at the same time makes it difficult for any of us to be included in such an important part of what the college is going to become in the future. This concludes my September report, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Debbie. The Student Government Assembly, Delashay Carmona Benson.
Thank you, President Battenfield, Board of Trustees, Dr. Chung, and college community. First thing on my list was vote. Let's get out there and vote. Your voices count. At SGA, we've been working a lot on getting together this college hour, putting together that proposal for you guys, as well as having our voice on all hiring committees. We also had our regional RAD 2 come and give us some training on Robert's rules, which we definitely appreciated. And Serafin Hernandez stopped by to give us an update on Southwest, which we also appreciated. We're also wanting to work on the bylaws so that we have reps from all the campuses, not just Santa Rosa and Petaluma. I also met with students who were against mandated vaccines. I felt as their president, I'm to listen to all students. And to me, all students have a voice and they should be listened to. But I'm for supporting safety. I know that we're having problems with our safety monitors, and I'm hoping that that will somehow be cleared. I support our staff and faculties wanting that safety as well. I also say for those that are not wanting to be mandated to be vaccinated, I wonder if they also are going to let us know that they're not vaccinated and give us the choice as students if we want to take that class. I've also been informed that SSU has been giving warnings of students or faculty and staff members who have been tested positive on campus. And I'd like to see that place with us as well. As SGA, we have all voted in a discussion that was very emotional. We didn't take it lightly. We certainly appreciated all the students who stepped forward with their voices against the vaccines. And so we took everything under consideration, and we voted pro-mandated. We feel that those vaccines should be mandated. Those who know me know that I spent my weekend burying my son who died of COVID. And I sat there at the funeral thinking, what if this is one of our students? It was the hardest thing as a mom. And I can't imagine putting any family through anything like this. And it's something we couldn't take back if it happened. I feel that SRJC needs to educate our students. There's so many myths that we're hearing, and we're not hearing the facts as well. So I feel that we need to put together some type of education for all students. Not everyone was going to be happy with these decisions. And sometimes decisions like this are hard ones, but they need to be done and they need to be put together. It has definitely been very difficult for me this past weekend and this week. And so I want to thank everyone who was there for me. SGA, my assembly members, and the most awesome team that anyone could think of. And that's Pedro, Robert, Genevieve, Zach, Candy, Sarah, and Sandy. And thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Delashay. Much appreciated. All Faculty Association, Sean Martin.
Yeah, thanks so much. After following that, I just want to extend my deepest condolences, Delashay, to you and your family. That's the first I've heard of this, and I'm so sorry to hear the news. Okay. President Battenfeld, trustees, President Chong, colleagues, and other members of the community. Typically, I take this opportunity to provide an update on the various activities of AFA since the previous meeting. We've got a lot going on. However, in today's report, I'm going to focus on the topics pertaining to safe working conditions in the context of the COVID pandemic, and specifically to Resolution 2121 on the agenda for today's meeting. I'll begin by noting that AFA continues to support the district's effort to expand access to in-person instruction and services in the spring 22 semester. We know many faculty members are eager to return to campus. Those of us who have been teaching on campus this semester can attest to the gratitude our students express for this opportunity. And we're confident there are many others eager to continue their studies, but who have found the online experience does not meet their learning needs. However, we can only support such efforts if we're certain the district is doing everything it can to ensure our members, as well as staff and students, are safe. Recent events have given us cause for concern regarding not the motives, but the capacity of the district to establish safe working conditions absent a full vaccine mandate. We believe swift implementation of a vaccine mandate would dramatically reduce these concerns, and so we applaud the plan to implement a full mandate for spring 22. However, we remain concerned that the proposal in the resolution for the remainder of the current semester is insufficient. In particular, the proposed plan for weekly testing on non-vaccinated persons is insufficient given our continuing experience with the district's failure to implement existing safety protocols. Since the beginning of the current semester, AFA has provided members numerous opportunities to share their experiences and concerns regarding the implementation of the SRJC plan for a safe return to campus. The bulk of feedback we've received conveys the totally inadequate implementation of protocols presented in that document. These protocols were an essential premise of AFA's agreement with the district to increase in-person instruction and services in the present semester. Among other things, we were promised that monitors would be present at each site to inspect and enforce masking protocols. As the document reads, and I quote, "Upon arrival, each mask will be assessed for appropriateness. If the mask is found to not be appropriate, neck gaiters, ill-fitting, dirty, etc., students will be asked to remove their personal mask and don an appropriate mask provided by SRJC." That's on page 20 of the plan. To our knowledge, this kind of monitoring has not occurred, or if it has not occurred in any consistent manner. This is but one concern faculty have brought to our attention. Others related to the confusing and contradictory district communications around implementation of the protocols and adoption of a mandate abound. Faculty have exhausted countless hours responding to the district's disordered messaging, seeking answers to questions that no one seems equipped to provide, and improvising solutions to issues for which leadership has provided little guidance. As an example, our department chairs have been working furiously in conditions of intolerable uncertainty to prepare a schedule of classes for the spring semester. Numerous departments and programs have asserted they're unwilling to schedule classes and services in person given these conditions. As a result, students and faculty are losing an opportunity to return to in-person instruction that will undoubtedly hamper our effort to improve our steadily declining enrollment. In short, the impression of the faculty is that district leaders have failed to promote a clear, coherent, and effective strategy to protect our community. That is, the faculty presently have little confidence in the district's ability to ensure safe conditions short of a robust vaccination mandate. We beseech you to provide clarity and guidance today so that we can begin to restore services to the community. Thus, we respectfully suggest the board entertain an amendment to Resolution 2121 that establishes implementation of a vaccine mandate in the current semester that does not allow for persons to opt for testing in lieu of vaccination, while of course allowing legally required exemptions. Barring that, we'd encourage the board to amend the resolution to allow for more frequent testing, including rapid testing for each day a non-vaccinated person is on campus. We're sensitive to the fact that students and faculty signed up for classes this semester before such a mandate was in place. However, this concern should be weighed against the real possibility that members of our community may suffer serious illness, hospitalization, or death should they contract the virus as a result of their or someone with whom they associate participating in district activities. Numerous colleges in our system have adopted mandatory vaccines after weekly testing has proven insufficient. More to the point, if the current conditions warrant adopting a vaccine mandate for spring 22, what reason could be sufficient to delay imposing the vaccine mandate? In addition, we support the immediate implementation of a robust educational campaign aimed at addressing concerns regarding equity, safety, and efficacy of the vaccines. We're a college, after all. We have an amazing array of experts and resources at our disposal, and we could do far better on this front. We also support allowing sufficient time for persons to be vaccinated, as so many other districts have done. Finally, we support providing free and convenient access to these vaccines. I thank you so much for your attention to this matter. That's my report.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for your report. SEIU, Sandy Segala.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Board President Battenfield, Board of Trustees, Dr. Chong, and college community. Thank you for a few minutes of your time today. And I just want to share, Delachey, also SEIU wants to add our condolences to you and your loss and to your family. We're really sorry for that. In addition to that, I also want to share with a heavy heart that I personally and on behalf of SEIU deliver our report today in recognition to our SEIU brother, Mike Garcia. I ask that we take a short moment of silence right now to honor Mike, please. Thank you. I want to extend appreciation to Dr. Chong for acknowledging Mike's time served here at SRJC. And all while Mike decided to take advantage of the ERI in 2019, SEIU is excited for him. And at the same time, selfishly, SEIU then was at a loss as Mike served as our SEIU as our communications officer. He was responsible for editing and publicizing the SEIU's Power Source newsletter. Mike was a union advocate and an awesome SEIU union leader. Our relationship did not end when he left the college, as we also developed a great relationship which continued after Mike retired. Mike would randomly check in with me to see if I'm taking care of myself, reminding me to not let the politics of the work I do on behalf of the classified take the best of me. Mike knew of my native roots and we had mutual friendships. He acknowledged the work I did with my tribe and other Central California tribes during my tenure as chairperson to my tribe. I always loved talking with him about tradition, dance, and culture. I learned of his passing last month before the August board meeting. However, out of respect to Mike's family, I honored the family's request to not be public yet. Today, I feel lifted in honoring Mike, and I thank Mike for his friendship, care of others, and his hard work and dedication, and the relationship we held with him during his time here at Santa Rosa Junior College and after. We miss you, Mike. Thank you. Following my report, telecommuting, SEIU has been working with the district collaboratively and excited at prospects to bring reasonable telecommuting options to our unit. The telecommuting topic has been a continued agenda item in negotiations discussion for quite a while now, and we continue to work out the details. Hopefully, we'll have a final agreement soon. Now the vaccine mandate, which is on board agenda today, as we've heard today for your approval submitted by Dr. Chong. So due to the 2 emails that we had received early in mid-August from Dr. Chong and early August, SEIU decided to call for an emergency meeting regarding the email stated mandate for employees and student vaccinations. On September 1st, SEIU held an emergency general membership meeting, which was very highly attended and very lengthy regarding the COVID-19 vaccine mandates at SRJC. We actually had a good turnout of 153 classified professionals attending this Zoom meeting. Our unit members definitely gave their input to us. We heard it all. We set up an anonymous voluntary Zoom poll at the meeting to ask if our unit members were in agreement to the hard mandate, yes or no. Roughly 70% were in agreement to the hard mandate, with roughly 30% not in agreement. The reasons, of course, were many. I won't go into that detail, it's too much. Our negotiation team schedules these general meetings, membership meetings, normally twice a month. However, this was a special called emergency meeting, and our classified unit directs our work, and our obligation to our unit members is move forward as we advocate for them at the bargaining table for both for or against a mandate or other labor issues. SEIU supports our unit members' safe and healthy working conditions. Also, SEIU would like to acknowledge with appreciation to the Dean of Disabled Students, Programs and Services, Disability Resources, Kim Starkey, for taking on added work as a supervisor to the District Safety Monitor Program. The SCNCs that were hired included Dawn Davis, she's a lead coordinator, with Anson Oroki, sergeant coordinator, and Ellie Quinones as a coordinator. Additionally, SCNCs that were hired for safety monitor are roughly around 33 employees. Also including, in addition to that, 8 classified professional permanent employees as temporary assignments. All are working with this program. I'm positive after hearing today updates and the lack of and more needed of safety monitors and their tasks, and will be dealt with, I'm sure, hopefully immediately. Thank you for all your oversight and the work you all do on this project throughout the district campus sites. SEIU has been working with our unit members in the departments when called upon. We get often called by our different unit members regarding COVID. We are working with them and trying to gather more education. I heard education brought up today. I think it's probably something the district needs to look at, is having special sessions of education regarding COVID and its outcomes, the virus itself and all the protocols. So we've been working, and I've just been hearing in the last few weeks about that at SEIU level from our unit members. Classified professional job descriptions review update. As I've mentioned in previous board meetings, I would give an update to you. This project has been a major time-consuming, overwhelming task effort for all involved, which includes the classified review committee of 3 management and 3 classified members on this committee. With this project, we've added a couple of negotiators to help as well. By making some tweaks and changes to the review process, it has helped the group to review each individual job description a bit quicker, but there continues to be several job descriptions to be reviewed, and we all definitely look forward to finalizing these job descriptions so that we can get them back to our unit members for their review. And finally, yes, I've got to also say, as Dorothy and Delashay said, today, get out and vote. Today is the last day, and I think the polls are open until 8. SEIU has been doing a lot of texting, messaging, phone banking, etc., walking. So yes, please get out and vote. And this ends my report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandy. All right, the last report is the management liaison team, Sarah Legos.
Good afternoon, President Battenfeld, members of the board, Dr. Chong, and college community. I also would like to extend my condolences to Delashay and all families who've lost a loved one these last 18 months. This loss and the grief they share is one of the reasons why, on behalf of the management team, we would like to express support for the proposed vaccine requirement to require all students, employees, and volunteers to provide proof of full vaccination for on-site access to classes and services beginning January 1st, 2022. The contagious nature of this virus makes it a collective problem, and therefore we need a collective solution. The science is clear. The benefits of taking the vaccines far outweigh the risks. There is a real human and moral urgency of doing what we can to stop the senseless horror of thousands of our fellow Americans from dying every day from COVID-19, which is why we applaud the decision to offer this resolution to the board to end the debate. It is no longer up for discussion. We cannot allow opinion to trump science. Our responsibility to our college and community is to provide a safe, secure learning environment, and the vaccine requirement does so. The efforts already underway by our campus colleagues emphasize the importance of listening and educating the vaccine hesitant in a respectful way, best received by the recipient. We look forward to supporting the implementation of this requirement and continuing to educate our community on the benefits of vaccinations. Our community has gone through so much in the last 4 years, and I don't need to recount it all for you. But one thing that I admire about our management team and most of the college community is the everyday work that still gets done, even when it seems like the world is ending. So here's some of those necessary but vital updates. We've had a number of new employees start at the college who've never set foot in their office, a classroom, or met some of their colleagues in person yet. I can't imagine the challenge of that transition. And I can't imagine the challenge Whitney Schultz has faced either. She has been tirelessly learning more about the inner workings of the world of finance while also completely immersed in closing out the fiscal year and completing the budget for the new year and preparing for the audit in the next 2 weeks. Exhausting even just to recount that. The amount of work it takes to do one, let alone all of them, is mind-spinning. However, she makes it look effortless and handles it all with her usual grace. Hank Langford has been working day and night to keep district facilities running while ensuring that HVAC, plexiglass, air purifiers, outdoor study spaces, and so much more are ready and safe for students. Mengi Gabre and his team continue to be the true heroes this semester, sanitizing behind everyone, disinfecting spaces where there have been positive COVID-19 cases, all while still ensuring offices and classrooms are cleaned. This is a massive coordination effort considering the number of on-site classes and employees this semester. And while the necessary and vital are occurring to keep this college running, there are still examples of innovation and forward thinking to keep the college responding to the ever-present and evolving needs of our world. Under the leadership of Dean Benjamin Goldstein, the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors awarded a $500,000 grant to SRJC for a new wildfire resiliency workforce training program that you've heard about. This grant will fund up to 3 years of wildfire workforce training for students beginning this fall. The development of this new program comes at a key moment in response to a very real and pressing issue facing Sonoma County and much of California and the West. Wildfire prevention, recovery, and resiliency is a top priority, and this program will help our students learn how to mitigate the risk of future catastrophic wildfires and create living wage jobs. It's incredibly rewarding and a reminder of why we love our work when managers can set aside the mundane paperwork and endless meetings and devote their energy, skills, and passions to create new opportunities for our students and community to solve real social and environmental problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for your update, and thank everybody for their updates and reports. We are now, we have finished the reports. The next item on the agenda is going to be the consent agenda, and we are scheduled to take a 10-minute break at this point. So thanks to everybody who's attending, and we will see you in 10 minutes. Thanks.
Voting today.
Yes, dear. I can't hear the outside, the noise.
Okay. Good bad of me. Hey, Daddy.
Okay. I'm just checking to make sure that all the board members are here. I think I see everybody. All right. I am going to restart the meeting after the break. And we are now beginning with the consent agenda. And unless there are any board members who want to pull any of the consent agenda items for separate discussion, if that's the case, please do so. Otherwise, I need a motion to approve D1 through D13.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. And there's no discussion item. There's no discussion on a consent agenda. So we'll have a vote now on the approval of D1 through D13.
Student trustee McCartney,
Aye.
trustee Vanellos,
Aye.
trustee Fishman,
Aye.
trustee Kandi,
Aye.
trustee Lindley,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Battenfeld.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We will now move on to the action agenda, starting with E1, personnel actions for September 14th, 2021. And I need a motion and a second, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment on E1? Any board member questions or comments? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote.
Student trustee McCartney,
Aye.
trustee Vanellos,
Aye.
trustee Fishman,
Aye.
trustee Kandi,
Aye.
trustee Lindley,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Battenfeld.
Aye. Thank you. All right, E2, July 16, 2021 to August 19, 2021 warrants. I need a motion and a second, please.
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any board questions or comments? All right, roll call vote.
Student trustee McCartney,
Aye.
trustee Vanellos,
Aye.
trustee Fishman,
Aye.
trustee Kandi,
Aye.
trustee Lindley,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Battenfeld.
Aye. All right, thank you. Moving on to E3, presentation of all faculty association, AFA, and district reopeners for 2021 to 2022 negotiations. Motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on this? All right, any board member comments or questions? Okay, roll call vote.
Student trustee McCartney,
Aye.
trustee Vanellos,
Aye.
trustee Fishman,
Aye.
trustee Kandi,
Aye.
trustee Lindley,
Aye.
trustee Martinez,
Aye.
trustee Battenfeld.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We now have the E4 2021 to 22 budget for the Sonoma County Junior College District. I think, do we have a presentation by Kate, or you
Yes.
just here to, okay.
Yes,
Well, so we'll
I'd like
start
to-
with, the presentation and then we'll do the motion. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Kate Jolly. I want to appreciate all the hard work of her team and her staff in putting this budget together. We've been working very hard, as President Battenfeld said, to advocate and lobby our legislators to make sure that community colleges receive their fair share of resources. And to a large extent, we've been working with groups like AFA and SEIU, and our lobbying efforts, I think, have borne some fruit. So I want to appreciate all the various constituent groups at the college, including the trustees, for advocating on behalf of community colleges. And when the pandemic started, people were expecting that we might have to lay people off and there would be huge deficits. But the irony of the COVID has been that there's actually a surplus in the budget. And I'm going to now turn it over to Kate to present to you an overview of the budget and answer any questions that the board members might have. Kate?
Thank you, Dr. Chong. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So good afternoon, President Battenfeld, members of the board, Dr. Chong, and colleagues. I am happy to be here today to present the 2021-22 adopted budget to you for approval. So when we created the 2021 budget a year ago, after we accounted for the $1.3 million in reductions under the long range plan, we had a budgeted spend down of almost $400,000, mostly due to the planned loss of revenue related to COVID. Fast forward a year later and a lot has changed. So the federal stimulus fund spending parameters were adjusted to allow for the backfill of lost revenue related to COVID. And we also realized a lot of savings from being off site. Now that we have closed the year, I am ecstatic to say that we have added a little over $9 million to our fund balance. This includes $8.24 million to the unrestricted general fund balance and $825,000 to rebuild the reserves for student health services. This takes our unrestricted general ending fund balance to an amazing 12.8% of expenditures. I have finally found the silver lining in the pandemic nightmare. So looking at where we ended up with the unrestricted general fund expenses, we had almost 65% in salaries, with academic salaries at 40%, classified salaries at 15.5%, management at 7.7%, and other salaries, which is our students and our ST&Cs, was 1.3%. Benefits ended up around 24%, bringing our total salary and benefit expenses to 89% of our total. In comparison, that same number for 2019-20 was 87.9%. However, COVID skews this year's comparisons because of the savings in the non-salary areas. So when we look at the breakdown by functional areas, as expected, over 74% of our money is spent on instructional activities and support and student services. Of the remaining expenses, 21% funds the district administrative functions, and the other 5% funds community and ancillary services, as well as support for other funds, such as paying for our retiree benefits. One area I get a lot of questions about is our long-range plan and where are we with it. So I'm happy to report we continue to make really significant progress. We have reduced a total of $15.4 million and are halfway through the plan. We only have $7 million remaining in the next 3 years. However, we have had a lot thrown at us this last few years, which does impact our planning around the remaining reductions. As anticipated, since so many people took advantage of the opportunity to participate in the early retirement incentive, and now with COVID, we are not currently seeing the number of retirements we are used to. This limits the number of positions that can be eliminated or reorganized to create additional savings in the non-instructional areas. Based on this, we are again recommending we adjust the timing of the remainder of the reduction. When this plan was presented in November of 2018, we knew a lot could change, and we highlighted the need for flexibility for unanticipated events as one of the guiding principles of the plan. While we have made great progress, $7 million is still a lot of positions, and with COVID and everything else that has arisen, we still need to dig into the discussion about what we aren't going to do anymore. This will occur organically as part of the strategic planning process that is kicking off soon, as well as there will be discussions in the new Planning and Budget Council that begins meeting this month. To allow some of those discussions to occur and guide our next steps, we are recommending the following changes to the plan. In 21-22, reductions of $2 million instead of $3.3 million. In 22-23, reductions of $4 million instead of $2.6 million. And in 23-24, retain the $1 million in reductions, however, reallocate it to different buckets. So all budgets are built on all budgets are built on major assumptions for both revenues and expenses. For the 21-22 adopted budget, the revenue assumptions include that we have budgeted full-time equivalent students, or our FTES, of 19,451. This is based on our funded number under the fire waiver, not what we are actually currently serving. We did get a 5.07% cost of living adjustment from the state for our apportionment funds. So deficit funding, the next item, deficit funding occurs when the state overestimates the amount of property taxes or student fees that will be received. Unlike K-12, the community college system doesn't have a mechanism for an automatic backfill. In the past, we had budgeted an offset for deficit funding, but it was removed quite a few years ago when budgets got tight. However, we have recently been seeing deficit funding each year, so we have put in an offset of almost $600,000. In 2021, we had deferrals of our apportionment funds from the state, so we had a loss of interest revenue. The deferrals have been repaid at the state level, so we are increasing our budget back up by the $200,000. In 2021, we had also budgeted lost revenue of $963,000 related to COVID. This was mostly in parking fees, commissions, and lost revenue from facility rentals. We have now been able to restore that budgeted revenue thanks to the federal HERF funding being able to backfill what we aren't able to collect this year. We are also budgeting some other miscellaneous state unrestricted state revenue increases of almost $500,000, mostly in the lottery funding area. So on the expenditure side of the budget, our major assumptions include we negotiated with our units for a 5.33% increase to salary schedules. We have our normal step and column adjustments of $805,000. We have increases to some of our benefit areas for 21-22. So we are seeing a light increase in our work comp rates, but the largest is our unemployment increase because of COVID. The state did step in and partially offset some of that increase, and we are also planning on offsetting some with federal stimulus funds. However, we are still anticipating a $194,000 increase. We saw our STRS rate increase from 16.15% to 16.92%, and our PERS rate increase went from 20.7 to 22.91 for an increase of $934,000. We have our annual uncontrollable cost increases. This includes areas such as insurance, credit card fees, sabbaticals, those kinds of things. This is a non-board election year, so we have removed the $200,000 for this year. We have an increase in the transfer to our retiree benefits fund. We did negotiate the district would pick up the minor health benefit cost increases for 21-22. And then we have the $500,000 reduction and the revised $1.5 million reduction to non-instructional positions under the long range plan. So when you apply that to our budget, here is the breakdown by type of major level revenues and expenses for the 21-22 unrestricted general fund. Looking at the expenses, almost 64% are in salaries, with academic at 44% and classified at 19.7%, and benefits are 24% of our expenditures. This brings our total salary and benefits to 87.7% of our budget. So we do continue to make progress in bringing that total salary and benefit percentage lower. When you add it all up for 21-22, we have a budgeted addition to fund balance of $159,000. That will leave us with an ending fund balance of about 11.7%. So while our focus is usually on our general fund, we do have 10 other funds that we operate. These include our special revenue, our facilities related, internal service, and our agency fund. So these include the Fund 33, which is our Children's Center Lab. Fund 34 is the operation of the farm. Fund 35 is the Auxiliary Enterprise Fund, which is our commissions and expenses related to food services. Fund 39 is funded out of parking fees and fines, and all expenses related to parking, including some of the salaries of our district police department, are in there. Fund 41 is the state and local facilities related projects, and Fund 44 is the bond fund. So a budget is simply a permission to spend. So for both capital outlay and Measure H, we always budget that we will spend the entire allocation. This never actually happens, but that way the projects are not hindered if we have any opportunities or changes that come up through the year. Fund 61 is where we cover all of our self-insurance expenses. So this includes the lower portion of our property and liability claims, as well as our dental expenses. Fund 69 is the other post-employment benefits that you hear me talk about, or OPEB fund. This is where we have the activity related to the early retirement option that employees received. As mentioned in the assumptions slide, we do have a transfer to this fund that's increasing $100,000 in this year. And then Fund 72 and 73 are our agency funds for the student rep and the student center fee. The district has oversight of these, but the budgets are created and the spending is authorized by the students. So additional detailed information can always be found in the budget book, which is attached in board docs, and both the book and this presentation will be available shortly on the budget updates page on the accounting website. So this concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I think I'm going to ask for a motion and a second first so that we have the item up for a vote, and then we'll take any public comment, and then board members can ask questions. But thanks for your presentation. So if I could have a motion and a second to approve E4, the 2021-22 budget.
Move for approval.
Oh, second.
Thank you. All right, do we have any public comment on the budget? I don't see anybody with their hand raised. So we will then go, now I will open it up to any board member questions on the budget or comments on the budget.
It's really good to see it in a different position for a change.
Anybody else? Okay, then we will do a roll call vote to approve the budget.
Student trustee Toscano. I'm sorry, student trustee McCartney.
Hi.
Trustee Banuelos.
Aye.
Trustee Fishman.
Aye.
Trustee Cundy.
Aye.
Trustee Lindley.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Battenfeld.
Aye. Thank you. All right, we will now move on to E5, which is resolution 21-21, development of a district vaccination testing program. I'm going to start by getting a motion and a second, and then we will, after that, have a staff presentation. Then I will take public comment, and then we'll have board deliberation, and then we'll have a vote. So if I could get a motion and a second first.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, great. So now we'll have just a staff presentation on the proposal itself, and then followed by public comment. Dr. Chong.
Thank you, President Battenfeld. Today, I bring to the board a resolution mandating vaccine verifications or testing for all employees and students who access district sites in person. This would be in place during the remaining part of the fall semester. Beginning in January 2022, vaccine verifications will be required for all employees and students who access district sites in person. Testing would no longer be an option in January 2022. I'm asking the board to support this policy recommendation in order to protect the health and safety of our employees and students. Once you have passed this policy recommendation, our team will share with you our proposed implementation plan to support the vaccine policy. The process of getting to this decision required many hours of hard work and preparation by many individuals at the college, including my cabinet, Student Health Center, and others that we have consulted with. I have consistently pledged to the board and to the college community during this COVID-19 that I would, number one, follow safety and science to guide us. Two, to provide clear recommendations and certainty so we can prepare. I've also consulted with the State Chancellor's Office, other college presidents and chancellors, local educational leaders such as Steve Harrington at the Sonoma County Office of Education, and my colleague and friend Judy Sakaki at Sonoma State University, and local health officials such as Dr. Sundari Mays in Sonoma County Health Officer. I've also heard from our constituent group leaders, AFA, Academic Senate, department chairs, management liaison group, classified Senate, SCIU, CFT, and our Student Government Assembly. And believe me, you have not been shy, as always, in providing what you feel is the proper way to go. And I really do honestly appreciate everyone who's taken the time to write to me, and many of you have. I've also heard from college community members who oppose any kind of vaccine mandate. And I'll say to you, while I respect your opinions, I do not agree with them. COVID-19 has not been like any other pandemic we faced, and sources that I respect have indicated that the COVID-19 will continue to be with us for another 6 to 18 months, as long as we do not get more people vaccinated. That is why I'm bringing this resolution forward. I believe it's the best path forward to ensuring our college community can gather and resume things that we've taken for granted, like athletics, theater, music and dance, and classes in person in a safe environment. I ask you support this policy mandate, and then I will then ask my leadership team to walk you through our proposed implementation plan for your input, and at which time I'd be happy to answer. Now I'd be happy to answer any questions on the proposed resolution. Thank you, President Bettenfeld, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you for the presentation. We're now going to have public comment. I already have some people signed up for public comment. I have 4 people who had signed up. I'm going to call on them first. I'll just list them and then I'll go on to the other folks, because then I also wrote down the people who had their hands raised and we didn't get to them in the other public comment. But just so you know that we're going to be calling on you soon. First, I have David Wellman and the coaches group have something. It's going to be followed by Dawn James, Laura Aspinall, and John Gates. And again, I really appreciate people keeping to the time of the public comment so that we can hear lots of comments. I appreciate people doing that. So we'll start. I think we have something to play that David Wellman has submitted on behalf of many of the coaches. See, are we able to play that? There we go. Thank you.
Action item E5. We strongly support a vaccine mandate for all on-site employees, volunteers, and students. However, we feel that the board and SRJC leadership needs to take immediate action regarding this mandate and not wait until January 1st, 2022. For the health and safety of all as we enter the cold and flu season, we request an amendment to the resolution requiring proof of at least one COVID-19 vaccination shot in a series by October 12th, 2021, 4 weeks from today, and proof of having full vaccine series completed by November 9th, 2021, 8 weeks from today, allowing significant time, access, and opportunity for people to get vaccinated. We understand the district's concern that students were not told of this requirement prior to registering for fall 21 in-person classes. However, other California community college districts have been proactive and preventative by implementing this mandate mid-semester to provide a safer environment for their college communities with success. This issue is urgent. We are working with unvaccinated students, faculty, and staff on a daily basis, putting our lives and the lives of our loved ones at risk. To keep our programs alive, we have taken the risk to return to campus for the benefit of our student athletes, our programs, and the district. We cannot safely or effectively do our jobs as educators without everyone being vaccinated as soon as possible. SRJC Athletics has been running weekly testing since March 2021 and have learned the hard way that sanitizing surfaces and weekly testing do not prevent the spread of COVID-19. Vaccinations do. It is your duty to protect the lives of your employees, our students, and our loved ones. A college education, and specifically 3C2A athletics, is dependent on in-person, face-to-face interactions between faculty, staff, and students. If we do not move forward with this, SRJC will continue to lose more and more students and fail our community. So again, we urge you to approve this resolution with an amended, accelerated timeline as stated above. Thank you. Head coach women's soccer, Lacey Campbell, head coach women's basketball, Allie Deal, head coach volleyball, Jake Fitzpatrick, head coach wrestling, Madison Green, head coach softball, Nikki Griffith, athletic trainer in sports medicine, Marty Kinahan, head coach men's soccer, Josh LaFontaine, athletic trainer in sports medicine, Jill McCormick, head coach men's and women's swim and dive, Craig McMillan, head coach men's basketball, Guy Moore, athletic trainer in sports medicine, Dr. Monica Akobu, head athletic trainer in sports medicine, Connor Van Aslam, head coach men's and women's tennis, Lenny Wagner, head coach football, David Wellman, head coach men's and women's cross country and track and field.
Thank you very much. Next, I have Dawn and James. If Dawn is here, you can unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, and thank you, President Battenfield, board member trustees, Dr. Chong, and college community. My name is Dawn James, AM custodian and COVID sanitizer. Since you have already made up your minds, there is nothing more for me to say regarding my concerns over the mandates. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Laura Aspinall. Laura, are you here?
Hi, I'm sorry about that. I had to unmute.
That's fine.
Just one moment. Good evening, President Battenfield, President Chong, trustees, and the college community. My name is Laura Aspinall. I'm a Disability Resources faculty member, senator for the Academic Senate, and a member of the Academic Senate Executive Committee. I spoke at our last board meeting imploring you to institute a mandatory vaccine for all medically eligible SRJC employees and students. Later that same week, President Chong announced SRJC would be moving towards such a mandate. I was greatly relieved to see our college following the advice of our scientific and medical communities, the CDC, and the Biden administration. As we know, this was followed soon after with a retraction from our president and then an apology for the lack of collegial consultation with our shared governance bodies and unions prior to making the decision to reverse the vaccine mandate. Troubled does not begin to scratch the surface of how I'm feeling about these events. SRJC has long purported itself to be a leader among California community colleges. This series of disappointing events is yet another example of how our college is falling woefully behind. As far as COVID is concerned, the startup of our fall semester was a failure. The district did not make good on its many promises to ensure COVID safety protocols were in place adequately. Safety monitors were not hired, cleaning has been inconsistent, provision of adequate PPE has also been inconsistent, and communications on our COVID response have been vague and even contradictory at times. I realize these are complicated matters. That said, other colleges have figured this out. Why haven't we? How can your employees and students be assured that the start to the spring semester will be any better? Testing is not preventative healthcare. Testing does not stop the spread of COVID. COVID mutates as it spreads. Testing offers no assurance of safety. To ask our community to return fully to our campuses in spring 2022 with a reliance on testing to keep us safe is irresponsible. Lastly, I've extended our college president grace for past mistakes in his leadership, but this mistake I do not foresee being able to forgive. Not when the health and safety of our students, our colleagues, our families, our community, and those who cannot get vaccinated due to medical conditions are on the line. I am left questioning if Dr. Chong is still the right leader for this institution. For these reasons, I request you, Board of Trustees, amend the resolution before you to require proof of vaccination prior to the end of the fall 2021 semester for all medically eligible SRJC employees and students engaged in face-to-face activities on our campuses, and then vote in favor of passing the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Next, I have John Gates. Is John here? I don't see you in the queue unless,
President Battenfeld, we don't see John Gates
Okay.
amongst the
all right.
attendees.
The next person I had who had signed up before, you'll have to state your name. I just see a phone number, 1-408-396-1718. Are you here?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, if you
Hello?
could, yes, we can hear you. If you could just please state your name and then you can give your public comment.
Great, this is John Gates, and thank you for taking my call, and my condolences to Delachey for sure. I'm really sorry about that. I sent a document this morning via email to the board members. As president, I don't believe that I got your address correct, but anyway, just wanted to talk about a few legalities just to start. The FDA, the Nuremberg Codes, and the United States Code of Regulations in regards to the mandate with COVID-19 emergency use authorization vaccine all require informed consent for a vaccine. That's informed consent, and just want to let you know that one legality. The other one is that the federal government, the vaccine corporations are all protected from lawsuits and liability. The school board, the district, and the school are not. There is financial liability. No court has ever upheld a mandate for an EUA mandate for a vaccine. So that's just the legal part. I'm hearing people talking about that the vaccine stops the spread of COVID. According to the CDC, it does not stop the risk of catching COVID. They have a 95% number. If you actually read through the whole report, it's a 1.2 to 0.08% percentage of helping you not get COVID. It does reduce the severity, but it does not stop you from catching it or spreading it. So people are talking about inflicting harm on others. It does not stop the spread. Is the vaccine necessary? There's a 99.998% recovery rate in younger people, down to 97.4% recovery rate in older people. So I don't know about the necessity. Effective, like I say, you can catch and spread COVID, and I'm worried about the safety more than anything. The various reports, which are by the CDC, and all this is all information from the CDC, Department of Health and Human Services, is in Facebook crap, okay? 650,000 reports of adverse effects from the vaccine. 88,000 of them were serious effects requesting hospitalizations, and there's been reports of 14,500 deaths from various reports. So there's a lot of adverse effects, and I'm against a mandated thing. I completely agree with the testing, the masks, everything else, but people are misinformed, thinking that the vaccine stops you from spreading the disease. It's just not. It's not a scientific fact.
Thank you.
So that's. I'd like to know. I know you don't agree, and people talking about science. I'd like to know what studies people have referenced that prove asymptomatic transmission.
Thank you, John. You've reached your 3-minute limit, and I really do need to allow time for other people. But thank you for speaking. I had Sarah Wiley on my list from earlier, but I don't think she's here now. Unless Sarah, are you here? If you're here, you can raise your hand and
I am here.
Oh, you are here. Okay, great.
I am. I have a letter that was written by the ADN of our nursing program that was sent to our Senate that I wanted to share with our Board of Trustees. So the letter starts out explaining that this is a really challenging time that we're all facing, and then kind of works into the position of the nursing faculty overall at SRJC. We want you to know that vaccination is the only tool we have at present to combat the speed, severity, and variant development of the COVID-19 virus. Vaccination dramatically decreases hospitalizations and length of stay if hospitalized. We have no medications which specifically cure COVID. This is why the severe cases of COVID died at alarming rates. COVID-19 breakthrough infections affect only 1% of the vaccinated population, and this statistic has remained stable for the past 8 months since vaccination became widely available. The vaccination is safe and effective, and further is no more life-threatening in its known side effects than any other immunization we require from our students. This includes the influenza, MMR, Tdap, hepatitis C. All of these immunizations carry risk, but that risk is substantially lower than the diseases they protect the individual from contracting. The FDA gave final approval for the Pfizer vaccine, and the expectation is that final approval will be extended to Moderna and J&J vaccine within months. These are facts, not sensationalized hyperbole. We're in the midst of a public health crisis, which requires everyone to do their civic, moral, and ethical duty to protect our community. Closer to home, choosing not to vaccinate, as opposed to a legitimate allowable exemption, absolutely determines if our SRJC nursing students can progress through the program and eventually obtain a position as a nurse. Immunization compliance is no surprise to nursing students. Vaccination health requirements are mandatory for nursing programs nationwide. This aspect of participation in a nursing program is non-negotiable. Further, completing the legislated Board of Registered Nursing mandated clinical practicum hours as detailed in our curriculum is also required to pass each sequential nursing course and allow progression through the program. We have had to require COVID vaccination for incoming students in fall 2020 and spring fall 2021 because the skilled nursing facilities where we place first semester students for clinical practicum will not allow an unvaccinated student in their facility. They are private entities and can legally make this strict policy with no exceptions. Thus, unvaccinated students cannot even pass the first nursing course. We're very transparent about the reason for this requirement. The applicants are free to decide if our program and its policies are right for them. As far as continuing students are concerned, we've had very few requests for an allowable CDPH exemption. We're working with those students to help them progress if possible, but there is a potential they will not be able to finish their nursing education. It does not matter if they complete the on-campus assignments and testing if they cannot satisfactorily.
Thank you, Sarah. Sorry,
Thank
you've
you.
reached your 3 minutes but thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, next in line, I have Tara Johnson.
Hello, President Battenfeld, Dr. Chong, members of the board and college community. I'm Tara Johnson, Faculty Disability Specialist, member of Academic Senate, and the coordinator of the Adapted PE program, which serves individuals with varying degrees of limitation and disability. The first year and a half of remote learning was very difficult for some of our population and catastrophic for others. We collaborated with over 50 APE programs across the state to create distance options for our students. Yet many students whom were unable to access specialized equipment, services, and supports quickly deconditioned. They lost strength, flexibility, balance, and endurance, which further compromised their immune systems. These losses directly impacted their quality of life with loss of independence, forced moves into skilled nursing facilities, more frequent falls, and hospitalizations. Students without the ability to use or benefit from our Zoom classes were impacted the most, and we have grieved too many unnecessary lost lives during this time. Our students needed to return. For our student population, many with compromised health systems, the decision to return to in-person classes this fall was not made lightly. The promise of safety protocols of masks, reduced room capacity, air filtration systems, and the increased availability of vaccines allowed us to return to campus. Sadly, many of these protocols were not well implemented. In order for this population and others to safely return fully to in-person classes, we implore the Board of Trustees to amend the resolution to implement mandated vaccines for all in-person students and staff with verified medical opt-out only prior to the end of fall 2021 term and vote to pass the resolution. Distance work and classes can remain available for those that choose not to take vaccines. I trust you will use science and not public opinion to inform your decision on this vote. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know I have 4 more people on the list, and then I'm going to close public comment. So in order, it's going to be Myra, Karen Frindell-Teicher, Danica, and Sunshine. So Myra, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, you're next.
Hi, hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone, good afternoon. In the interest of time, I'll just go ahead and make my comments.
If you could give us your full name for the minutes, please, since we don't have it.
My name is Myra Jimenez.
Thank you.
Thank you. So first of all, I'd like to mention that I corresponded briefly with the president. I appreciate your concern for the safety of staff and students. However, I feel that the response to not only our personal correspondence, but just the pandemic and to the students in general has been very much unsatisfactory in my own opinion. To say that in a follow-up email that the JC would be providing an option of weekly testing for the spring semester, and then to come on and see that that amendment wasn't made to the proposal and that the proposal still says that this would be enforced beginning January 1st of 2022 is very disappointing and is honestly very intellectually dishonest to the students who've expressed concern. When I hear other speakers mention that, you know, they're following the science and they want to respect the scientific community, it's self-evident that even within the scientific community, there's conflicting evidence. So when I'm told that, you know, we have to follow safety and science per the president's email, it disturbs me greatly to have to say that I don't think we're following objective safety and science. I think we're only accepting whatever confirms our beliefs. And there's information even published through the CDC website that demonstrates that the vaccine efficacy isn't what it was purported to be at the beginning of the distribution of the vaccines. So this whole idea that testing offers no assurance of safety per Laura's comments is disappointing because neither does vaccine status. There's COVID infections present regardless of vaccination status. And so this whole narrative that's being pushed on the students that this is a soft mandate that's meant to keep us safe is quite honestly, to put it bluntly, an intrusion into the private domain of students' private citizenship. And it's not a decision that the JC should feel compelled to make on the students' behalf. And so with that, I yield my time, and I just would like to express my deep disapproval of the JC's move.
Thank you. Karen Frindell-Teicher.
Everybody. President Battenfeld, members of the board, President Chung and college community. I'm an AFA officer, and I will be reading a statement from an email that was sent to AFA this week from one of our members, Nancy Persons. It captures the concerns of many of our other unit members as well. Quote, I would like to voice my strong concern for the weak resolution that appears on the 914 board agenda regarding the vaccine mandate. I feel this resolution is worded in such a way as to be very vague. In addition, I object to the suggestion to wait until the spring semester to implement the mandate. Furthermore, when the district states in a whereas that they demonstrated a commitment to educating the college community about vaccines, providing resources for outreach to vulnerable populations, I feel this statement is questionable. Our outreach should have been including partnerships with local health agencies to help educate the public as to why a vaccine mandate is needed. The weekly testing required in the whereas for the remainder of the fall is inadequate. It is well documented that such testing is inefficient and unreliable. Concert venues are doing a better job of enforcing vaccination and strict 48-hour testing result limits from specific established testing sources. The resolution in no way addresses occupancy of large spaces, including tutorial centers, libraries, cafeterias, or other large spaces where monitoring of access, proximity of individuals to each other, mask wearing, etc., will need to be addressed, leading to questions of safety for employees working in said areas. The resolution does not speak to consequences for those who fail to adhere to a vaccination mandate. The resolution does not speak to the need to wear masks indoors in conjunction with a vaccine mandate. In short, I personally find this resolution woefully incomplete and do not expect it, should it pass in its current form, to really help us out of this mess we've gotten into as a result of a failure on the district's part to enact reliable, responsible measures over the past year and a half. End quote. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Danica? And again, if you could state your full name before you give your comment, that would be great.
Hello. Hello?
Yes,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. My name is Donica Chacon. I had bullet points lined up that I was going to hit when I made my public comment, but listening to people bringing up points of the CDC and what they're saying, it just seems like nobody's listening. So I'm going to talk about me personally and people that I know at the school who have been affected. After I got the email saying that we would be required to get vaccinated, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I felt sick to my stomach. I do not feel comfortable taking this vaccine. That is my personal choice. I pay tuition as a student to come to your school, not for you to tell me what to do with my body. That should be my personal choice. I don't feel comfortable because there is not enough data. As a college student, you are teaching us that we should look at data. We should look at research to make an informed decision, to make an educated decision. And I don't have that data. This vaccine hasn't even been available long enough. I am not the only person that feels this way. There are other people that can't sleep, that can't eat, that feel like they want to vomit. I don't even feel proud to be a student there. Is that how you want us to feel? Is that how you want your students to feel? I thought you wanted us to feel safe. So if masks work, then why can't we keep wearing them? I have been on campus for over a year in person as part of the dental hygiene program. I'm a second-year student. We have been seeing patients. We wear proper PPE. We follow the rules. We haven't had any cases, any outbreaks. Why can't we keep following wearing masks? Why can't we just get tested? I'm so frustrated and emotional, and I feel like nobody listens, and I'm just labeled as a conspiracy theorist, and so are the other people that have the same views as me. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I just look at the data and I know in my gut what I feel, and I know other people feel the same. I just want to scream. I'm so angry. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you. All right, and then our last public comment will be Sunshine.
Hello.
Again, if you could state your full name, please.
Hi, my name is Michelle Kelly.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you, so you can give your comment. Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, hi, thank you. So I just wanted to say that vaccination should be a choice because I've always believed in my body, my choice, especially if there's a possibility of health risks from the vaccine, which if you go on VAERS, and the CDC will also show you that there are a lot of risks, even death from the vaccine. And I definitely think it should be our choice. There should be, and if you guys already decided that you're going to implement this, there should be weekly testing options like the County of Sonoma employees have. And they also have religious and medical exemptions. I think everybody, yeah, that's a big part of the county workers have that option. And I know the Board of Supervisors is happy with the weekly testing option. They like it, 4 out of 5 of them, I believe. So I'm very surprised to see this coming from the Santa Rosa Junior College. Very, very extreme. I believe if you guys are going to go for it and you're not scared of the liability part, there should be weekly testing options and religious and medical exemptions like the county, because medical mandates have no place in our city, our county, our country. There are no long-term studies yet. And I think that You know, I understand the urgency to give everybody who wants a vaccine, but there are no long-term studies. So how can anybody look at you and say you're going to be fine right now, or in a year, or in 4 years, or 5 years? Nobody can say that. And as things start popping up and people start having injuries and side effects, is the SRJC ready to handle all the lawsuits against them? Because the pharmaceutical company, or any of them actually, I think none of them are liable for their vaccine product. And I hope that you guys at least make an amendment for everybody who can't get this vaccine for medical or religious, at least. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. We are way past public comment. I have one more person who just raised his hand or her hand. Jamie, I do need to cut off public comment, but if you want to just speak briefly and just state your name and just state your position, maybe take about 30 seconds, that would be great.
Thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate that. I am another student that will hopefully be on campus moving into the radiology program at some point. And I just wanted to second Myra and a couple others on the fact that I am definitely against this mandate as well. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hear us out today, but I definitely think following the email that Mr. Chong sent out on August 27th saying that we decided to continue to allow students the option for weekly testing through spring 2020 or 2022, excuse me, and going back on his word is very disappointing. I don't understand what happened to our constitutional rights about our freedom to choice of what we choose to put in our bodies. Even the FDA on their site have said that according to the UEA, they need to ensure that recipients are informed to the extent practicable given the applicable circumstances that they, meaning us, have the option to accept or refuse the UEA product. All of the other vaccines that we may or may not be required to get have gone through years of testing, and this vaccine has not. It's only gone through a number of months. I don't understand why we would be forced to choose that versus our education. It does not make sense to me. I will not stand for it. I do not consent. I don't understand why we would be stripped of our education over this. Like others have said, they've used the proper PPE, they've taken the proper precautions, and they have not gotten sick. You will continue to lose students if this mandate, not a law, moves forward, and one of those students could definitely be me, which would be very, very disappointing.
Thank you, Jamie. Okay, thank you very much. And thanks to everyone who spoke at public comment, and I appreciate you trying to be as brief as possible. I'm not going to end public comment, and now this is the time for the board to deliberate, discuss, and ask questions about the resolution before we vote. So if maybe we could take the put everybody, there we go, so I can see who has their hand up and who wants to speak. That would be great. Board members? Trustee Fishman?
I'm not the only one, am I? Or okay. Caroline, you want to go? I always talk first. You want to go?
Sure, I'll go. Well, first, before I make a comment, I'd like to ask a quick question. I know the resolution is a little bit vague on this, and that is the exceptions for medical reasons or religious reasons. It just sort of touches on it at the very end. But I just want to clarify that there will be medical exemptions and religious exemptions along with this mandate. Is that correct, Dr. Chong?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. There is accommodations for medical and religious. We've been been meeting with our council, our lawyers about it. All districts throughout the state who are instituting verification mandates and vaccine mandates are grappling with the medical and the religious. And we are working very closely with our attorneys, and they are providing us legal guidance about the process and going forward. So that the answer to your question, Trustee Banuelos, is yes, there will be medical and religious exemptions based on the law, what the law allows.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because it is kind of vague in the resolution. Unfortunately, it just says that they will be fully explored or something to some language of that. But I know, for example, at the CSU, there are religious and medical exemptions. So I wanted to make sure that that was part of it. I want to thank everyone that has sent emails, and all the folks that have taken the time to write to us and let us know how you feel about this issue. I know it's a really, emotional issue for some folks. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, expressing your feelings one way or the other. I really do. There were so many this time that I didn't have time to respond to everyone. So I apologize, but I did read every single one and appreciate you taking the time to do all of that. Having said that, I just want you to know that for me, this is a public health issue, and that we as individuals, I feel, have a responsibility to one another to make sure that we're all protected. And as a board member, I feel I have a responsibility to staff, to employees, to faculty, and to students, the college community and the greater community, to make sure that in my view, that you are all as protected as possible. And that's why I support the resolution. And I hear all of you about, or many of you have spoken about the time and wanting it to be implemented now. But at the same time, I'm hearing that what's being implemented now isn't being done very well. So given that, I think we need to think about what it takes to implement these things and the time that's going to be needed to do it correctly. And also to give students the time that they need to think about what they want to do in the spring if they are really feel so strongly about not getting vaccinated. And just given that, I know it seems like a lot of time, but I think that needs to be considered also, and as to why we're not implementing this immediately. And I know that other community colleges have voted to do this, but that probably doesn't necessarily mean that they've implemented it right away. So I just wanted to put that out there as well as to why I'm supporting it, as long as there's some exemptions and there are some things for folks to look at, some options for folks to look at. I don't think the goal is to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do, but it is about protecting the community, and that's why I'm supporting the resolution. Thank you.
I'm muted. Trustee Fishman?
Yeah, hi. I too would like to thank everyone for their communications. I'm always impressed and amazed at the level of discourse that this community can have in controversial issues. Your comments were respectful and not personal. About 2% of the comments were personal. And so I thank you for that. It means a lot. It means, how we watch a process happen and how decisions are made. And I really took to heart listening to people today. And I appreciate the comments. I didn't agree with it necessarily with a lot of them, but that's okay. Mandating a vaccine for a deadly disease is not original. It's not radical. And it's not even innovative. I couldn't have spent the years teaching I did in secondary without showing proof of vaccinations, having to be updated on my tubercular tests every 2 years. I'm also a beneficiary of, as many of you perhaps are beneficiaries of some rather significant vaccines that help the world. We've done this for about the last 100 years. And if you got my response, it's really no secret that I support this resolution. But I was asked a question, and I think it needs addressing. And the question was, well, how did you come to this decision? And I think that's a really fair question to ask a member of the board. So my decision is based on a number of factors. I listen, I read, I discuss the issues with a cross-section of medical and scientific experts. I'm sort of a quiet groupie on YouTube for UCSF's Grand Rounds, if anyone has listened to those, to George Rutherford and Dr. Walkner. I have the good fortune of having a number of medical professionals in my family, including an ER doc on the East Coast. He alone could have made my whole decision for me based on his stories. But decisions like this are not done in a vacuum. They're not done, and many people here have reflected on life experience. It's just not, we're not in an intellectual vacuum. And my life experience includes more than my fair share of coming up against a vaccine. Our 4-year-old son, he got a massive brain infection from the chicken pox. He lost his ability to walk. He lost his ability to talk just from a case of the chicken pox. He survived and healed, but it was horrific. He went back in school, held back in school because he lost his ability for the right left, so he couldn't learn to read. He was born a year or two before the chickenpox vaccines were routinely given to kids. In the last 36 hours, and this is absolutely the truth, I've shared this with two board members, that 3 people in my life have gotten COVID. They were breakthrough cases. One of them is my brother, and his doctor was quite frank with him that the only reason he is alive is because he had a vaccine. And this, this sits close to me. So I know this policy doesn't please everybody, satisfy you. It's not strong enough if you're supporting more of a mandate. It's too much if you're opposed to a mandate. But what really I want you to know, and you know me, I'm sort of the corny one sometimes on the board that will cry and say things, but my ultimate reason to support this vaccine is because I care about you. That's all I have to say.
Other trustees? Trustee Cundy?
Yeah. Hi. I think the last 2 trustees, very eloquently shared my thoughts. And again, I want to thank everyone for sending all the notes, the emails, the phone calls. And yes, I did read everyone. I read all the attachments. So please believe, I think you and the public, that you think the trustees aren't looking at all the data. We are looking at all the data. We are exploring the stuff. But I believe, as Trustee Manuelo said, it's our ability to protect the community at large. And this is a position that we're in, and this is what we have to do. I do have a thing that I have to ask Dr. Chong a question, and maybe you can answer it, is that I really believe, and I heard what people said, is if we could mandate this to start sooner than later, because I would be on board with that. Instead of letting this drag till I'm about, we know we're going to do something, so let's do it. But I know we had spoke about this, and you can see a lot of mistakes other schools made by implementing the thing too soon to make it work. So Dr. Chong, could you enlighten me on that? If there is a possibility that we could, because I heard what a lot of faculty said, and I really believe in that.
Yeah, thank you, Trustee Cundy, for that question. Believe me, it's not like we're going to start planning the implementation once you pass this resolution. We've been planning for the last month and about finding vendors, talking other community colleges that have misstepped. One community college, I won't mention in the South, dropped 4,000 students in one day. And I think they regretted it. It was kind of a harsh way to implement whatever mandate they were looking at. So we're trying to learn from other colleges. And we're also understanding we haven't hired any public health officials to help us with this. We're trying to make do with what we have. And I really want to appreciate my team again, particularly Pedro Avila, my Vice President of Student Services, who's helping lead the student initiative, and Jean Duran, our new Vice President of Human Resources. We're talking to attorneys, we're talking to third-party vendors, we're talking to other community colleges, and we want to get this right. And I think the college critique of the safety monitors is valid. We've done had a rough start, but we're doing much better now. And I understand people's hesitancy, and that's one of the reasons where I think today is like September 14th. We're looking at implementing and starting to implement the mandate and the testing starting in October 15th. We're looking about a month out, and it takes that long to download the data and to get all the intricacies worked out. So I just asked for people's patience. If we could do it sooner, we would, but I've made a decision. I don't want to so-called rush it and make more mistakes. That's when you make mistakes. I want us to do our due diligence with the people power that we have, and I'm confident we're going to be able to carry it out, and I'm sure people will be watching very carefully. No one more than me wants to see this work, and I will do whatever's necessary, and I've told Kate Jolly that whatever resources we need to make this work, let's spend the dollars to do that. And we do have relief dollars in order to do that. So I know people want to see this happen yesterday, but many of the colleges that have passed resolutions before us are still in the planning stages, and very few are implementing. The ones that have implemented, many of them have started their semesters earlier than us. So it's a matter of doing it right. Failure is not an option. We're really trying to get this right. And I understand people's skepticism. I just ask that they take that criticism and try to work with us and give us feedback as you have been. And all the feedback I've gotten from faculty and staff about things that have gone awry with the initial fall opening, we have taken into consideration, and we've acted upon it to improve upon the system. It's a huge responsibility to try to implement a public health mandate that's never been done before. I think we're up for it, and we're learning as we go on. I hope that answers your question.
No, yes, it did. And also I wanted to your staff and everyone that the job they've done to put something together. This is no small task. This is huge. It's enormous.
Student trustee McCartney, you had some comments or questions?
Yes, sorry for my brief leave. I'm currently on campus working, so my laptop died and I had to run to the closest outlet. But I just wanted to leave my comments on the decision for the mandate from a student perspective, because I have been targeting more so finding the opinions of students, because more so faculty are in my inbox and giving their opinions. So it's easy to know how they feel, but the students have interest are on the willing to do it if necessary. A lot of the international students will fall in the spot of having to take the vaccine because we have to be on campus. So maybe even we'll have to do some vaccination, probably seminars with them, especially from different countries. But I just think that this is a global pandemic, and everybody should be thinking more like global. And for me, coming from a small third world country in the Bahamas, I got vaccinated because I also have a brother who's an ER doctor, and my family going home to visit them, I had people at risk, and I would rather put myself at risk than them, because I know of our our medical situation we have at home. So, but a lot of the students, I understand their concerns, but I do want to move forward with having a healthier campus where we don't experience seeing students succumb to any COVID related illnesses or anything. And I just really for this, and a lot of student direction for it. So we totally have you guys' back on this, and thank you for letting me speak.
Okay, thanks, Trustee McCartney. Do we have other trustees who have comments or questions? Either Trustee Lindley or Trustee Martinez? Trustee
I
Martinez?
speak for Lindley, but I think that all of the rest of the board has stated what maybe we were thinking as well. So I will leave it at that.
Okay. All right, Trustee Lindley, do you have anything to say, to add to what's already been said?
I just appreciate everybody's input and thoughts, and I do support this resolution, and I know we'll be doing the right thing going forward.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm not going to add anything else. I think a lot of the speakers, especially Anitra and Delachey speaking for the students and the other groups, I think gave a lot of good information and kind of shared my concerns and reasons for why I'm going to be voting for this. And again, like everybody else, I really appreciate the respectful tone of this. I think, it does say a lot about how we try to operate as a community and the example that we try to set for how to have discourse and how to discuss controversial issues, but also know how we can move forward on the shared goals that we have about supporting students and supporting the JC. So at this point, then I think we are ready for a roll call vote.
Student Trustee McCartney.
Aye.
Trustee Banielos.
Aye.
Trustee Fishman.
Aye.
Trustee Kandi.
Aye.
Trustee Lindley.
Aye.
Trustee Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Battenfeld.
Aye. Okay, and again, thank you everybody for taking the time to listen and to participate. Now that the resolution has passed, we are going to have a follow-up report on the actual implementation of the policy. And I think Dr. Avila and Jean Durand are going to give us some more information, and so that we can ask additional questions about some of the details that people have legitimately had questions about. So
Yeah.
I'll let you do your presentation.
Yeah, I just want to say that I thank the board for their support, and I also want to acknowledge and respect those who had differing opinions. You're all our students, you're all our employees. We want to work together with you. This is a time for reconciliation and trying to work together. And I want to really appreciate Jean Duran and Pedro Avila for the hard work that they've been doing, and that communication is always important. And one thing that I learned from the past fall is that we're going to do a better job of communicating to the college community. We're going to be conducting some listening sessions and some question and answer sessions with both students and with faculty and staff and administrators in terms of the operational piece of this. And we'll be scheduling those fairly shortly. But at this time, I'll turn it over to Pedro and to Jean for them to kind of walk you through the basics of what we're looking at and the work that they've done, share with you how it's going to work. And this is just a proposed outlook. So feel free to ask questions and provide input. Jean, Pedro, you guys are on. Thank you.
So thank you, Board President Battenfield, Trustees, Superintendent President Chong, my friends and my colleagues. Vice President Avila and I appreciate the opportunity to present to you and to our college community our anticipated process for vaccinations and testings this fall. Vice President Avila will begin with some successes of our recent vaccination initiatives.
I just wanted to take a moment and recognize some of the good work we've done around vaccination, education, and awareness around COVID, and also encouraging our students to vaccinate. Big kudos to our student health services who have vaccinated more than 1,000 employees and students. They've done a tremendous amount of work setting up vaccination clinics at various locations, including our Southwest Center. We also have a team that's handling all the COVID incidents. So we have a really good process in place right now that is doing the contact tracing and the reporting that is required every time we have a student that reports that they have tested positive for COVID. There's been some really great collaboration and work in athletics with our student athletes. The work that's happening between those two departments and making sure that our student athletes are vaccinated or that they're testing regularly. In fact, I was there yesterday speaking with Monica Kubel and some of our student health services staff, and they have a really good process in place to take care of our student athletes. And then, we're also aware that we need to continue to create awareness within our community, especially our BIPOC populations that have a lower vaccination rate. Next week, through the collaboration of Student Health Services and Student Government, we're going to be hosting Vaccine Week, the whole week of September 20th. On September 20th, our Sawawana Black Student Support Center, in collaboration with BSU, is going to be hosting a vaccination jam, specifically aimed at informing our African-American students on the vaccine, and also they will be able to be vaccinated that day if they wish to. And then on September 23rd, we're planning a webinar for students with a panel of multicultural health experts, again, to continue to provide information about the vaccine and maybe debunk some of the misinformation that's out there. And just a reminder to everyone, we are continuing to provide vaccinations either by appointment or you can call or email, or you can just show up. And I know Student Health Services will make sure that you get vaccinated.
All right. So I know that the slide contains much detail, and that's because this presentation also serves the purpose of communicating out information and assisting in framing our conversations with our employee groups. If we can go to the next slide, I think it'll be a little simpler, but I'll be able to fully explain the process that we have for employees. With regard to the first part, we already have ready to go, pretty close ready to go, a process that is online and that the submission will be encrypted to human resources for our employees and volunteers to let us know whether they're going to opt for providing proof of full vaccination, or if they're going to opt in the fall to submit to weekly testing. For those who do supply us with information on vaccinations, and there's a list of documents that will be listed on the form, those records will come to Human Resources. They'll be reviewed by Human Resources and then entered into our HR information system, which is Escape. And that will allow us to actually do easier searches as we go forward in the process. For those individuals this fall who opt for testing, they'll also check that box. And also in this process too is information on how to get an appointment for those who choose to now be vaccinated. So that'll all be there and be very clear. But for those who submit to weekly testing, there will be information in this process online that they can begin to schedule the testing with Student Health Services. And for individuals who may need a little bit more attention, who want to do it in person, they'll be able to call Human Resources, make an appointment, and then come to us, and we'll be able to take the information in person. The preference, though, is to do this completely online. So for those people who do opt for weekly testing, two things. If a positive test comes out, that'll be reported to our COVID response team. It is a process that has been working really well for contact tracing, for ensuring that we're doing the correct reporting, not only to our college community as we're required to, and to the individuals, but also to health agencies. And our website is actually going to be updated, so all of the incident reports that we've had will be available and public. So both of these components, both verification of vaccination, as well as positive testing, we will be reporting that out weekly, and this will be an HR process, reporting that out weekly to area supervisors all across the campus with information on those individuals who have complied with either vaccination or testing and who are able to work on campus in the fall. We'll go to the next slide.
And for students, we have been, as Dr. Chong mentioned, we have been doing a lot of work and making sure that we identify the right system to be able to track all the requirements. We have interviewed a number of companies, and we chose to go with the company by the name of Cleared4. This company is currently being utilized by Riverside City College, El Camino College, and San Diego Miramar College. And I have reached out to all three colleges, and all three of them have confirmed that the implementation and the system is working very well for them. The system will allow students to be able to do everything in one place. And then what's really neat is that at the end, if they meet the requirements, they will get a pass that they will be able to utilize to indicate that they're cleared and that they've met the requirements to be on campus. And this is what the process looks like. It's really a four-step process. We're gonna require all students who are taking in-person classes to go through this process. They're all gonna receive an email and a text that's gonna have a personalized link specifically for them to be able to go into the system and upload their verification, their vaccine verification record. Once they do that, we're going to have professionals from Clear4 that are going to review those records to make sure that they are legitimate. And then for students who do not provide records or choose not to provide records, and I'm speaking specifically for the fall semester, they're going to be required to test weekly with SRJC. Any student who doesn't meet the weekly testing requirement will be prevented from being on campus, attending class, or going to any in-person appointments. And again, positive test during the testing process, we will follow our already in place COVID response protocols that would notify the instructor and the student and everybody else who's been exposed. And then step three is required for all students, regardless of vaccination or testing. Students are going to be required to complete a symptom survey. And every day before coming to class, they're going to have to verify that their symptoms haven't changed in order to be able to receive the pass, the digital pass. So once the student has a pass, they've met all the requirements. The other thing we're going to be working on is doing a reset on our safety monitors. We've heard your concerns. We're going to be repurposing them in a different way. We're going to be setting up safety monitor stations where all students are going to have to check in and show their pass. And by doing that, they're going to get a sticker, a daily sticker that's going to allow them and symbolize that they're cleared to be on campus and go to class. And just as an update, we now have 64 safety monitors, and we feel pretty confident that we're going to be able to reset that and do a repurpose on the way they operate. This is just a quick sample of what the symptom survey looks like. And again, this is going to be required of every student before they can be cleared to come on campus for that day. They will get a survey that has a number of questions related to COVID. If they answer the questions in any way that shows that they have COVID symptoms, they won't be allowed to come on campus. They won't get cleared. If they answer the questions in a way that show no symptoms, they will be cleared. So regarding testing, testing is going to be handled. We're going to offer testing weekly, Monday through Friday. It's going to be by appointment. So we are going to request that students and employees schedule their testing any day of the week. We're going to be providing the COVID PCR test that will give us results within 48 hours. Originally, we wanted to do a rapid test. The issue with that, and also the limitation with that, is that number one, rapid tests are not very accurate for asymptomatic persons. So using rapid tests could give us false negatives and not be totally accurate. The other issue that we're running with the rapid test is that there is a shortage across the nation with rapid tests, and we don't feel confident that we can provide that many tests for every student and every employee. We will have them though. If somebody is symptomatic, we will refer them to do a rapid test immediately to make sure that we record that and test them for COVID. Our system's going to be tracking, all students in one system, so we'll be able to see who hasn't met any requirement, and we'll be able to flag them and prevent them from being on campus. And again, employees and students who do not meet the testing requirement will be notified, and positive tests are going to be reported through our COVID response team. This is the timeline that we are proposing. September 24th is our target date to finalize the implementation of our system and process. The week of September 27th, we're going to give ourselves that week to do pilot testing. I'm going to be inviting students to help us do some piloting and make sure that the system is working well before we go live. On Friday, October 1st, we're going to do a live Zoom demo to do Q&A and make sure that employees and students understand how the systems are going to work. On Monday, October 4th, that's the day we're going to go live with the verification system for vaccinations. And starting Friday, October 15th is the deadline for everyone to be verified. So there's a 2-week window for both students and employees to submit their verifications. And we're going to be helping them with that. Our Welcome and Connect Center is going to be working to support students. HR is going to be supporting employees. And we're going to be involving also student outreach and student life and many departments to be able to provide tech support and help everyone to make sure that they can navigate the system. And by Friday, so starting Monday, October 18th, anyone who's not verified will have to do the weekly testing. And again, if they fail to show up to their test or if they don't do testing, they will be prevented from being on campus.
Pedro, I think Trustee Kunde had a question. I'll maybe let you ask it. Do you want to take questions now or do you want to finish?
Yeah, I can take a question now.
No, that's fine. Pedro, go ahead and finish. Let's finish.
Okay, I think we have one more slide. We're almost done.
Okay.
So this is just looking forward to spring. As the resolution states, the vaccine requirement will be for all employees, volunteers, and students effective January 1st, 2022, and was previously mentioned through our normal human resource processes. We will consider all exceptions based in law. And so the team is we're already working on that process and some training for the team. We'll do as much education, Q&A sessions as was mentioned, a reminder sent to employees and students beginning as soon as we can before the spring implementation so that individuals understand, and there's vaccination education, vaccination awareness, and resources available, and anticipate being back to talk to the board about this. The one thing I will say regarding the employee process and questions that Dr. Chong, or actually a statement that Dr. Chong made about how much preparation has been done. The component for employees to submit online is pretty much ready to go. And relative to the timeline, I anticipate opening that up as soon as we possibly can and communicating that out. So we have a bit of a soft opening, sort of an early preview. So for those eager individuals who want to start the process, we'll allow that and just have some few people go through as a test case to make sure that we work it out. We have already worked out some things already with some HR employees as our test case, but we want to roll this out, if we can do it in a gradual way. I realize it's still a compressed timeline with only 4 weeks. We will do that and have it as much as we can available as soon as we can. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll ask a question. I got a couple questions. So how does it work where there's not going to be a confrontation where someone personally doesn't want to be tested, or if they want to bypass the system, and then suddenly you're having the teachers be the police, and so how does that work? How, because you know how it's going to happen. Someone's going to have a confrontation. I have another question, but how does that look? How does that work?
Yeah, so Jeff, we've had similar questions now, right? With students not wanting to wear a mask in class, or well, first of all, we haven't had, at least that I know of, any issues where students haven't followed protocols. But the question has come up, right? How do we handle that? So we do have our Dean of Student Conduct. At that point, it would be a conduct issue. So we would handle it like any other conduct issue. Okay.
My other question is, how many students and employees are currently coming to the campus right now, and by number or your estimation of a percent?
Yeah, so we know that there's 6,000 students today enrolled in in-person classes. Jeannie, I think you had a number too for employees, right?
Yeah, so again, just based on those classes, as well as some of the other processes that are going on, for employees, we estimated around 400 who may regularly be on campus. And then there might be a few more, because not only do we have people who are regularly scheduled, but there are some people who come in intermittently or seasonally based on a particular task that they're required to come in. And the one thing to remember about all of this is this requirement, vaccine testing requirement, is only for those individuals who are scheduled to be on campus or who need to access any of our on-site services through the spring.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee McCartney, you had your hand next.
Yes, I wanted to ask, because I was a safety monitor, I started my training in the summer, and one thing we did with our training in the beginning is that we actually took people's temperature. And I'm just wondering about the survey and how will we be able to accurately measure that and manage that depending on people's opinions? Because I know sometimes students are running to their cars and they bring up their temperatures, or like, how can we track that even going into the classroom?
Yeah, Nidra, so the student survey is administered by the student. They do that themselves through the platform. It's not going to be on the safety monitor to do that. How they answer the survey will determine whether they get a pass or not. So when they show up to the to see the safety monitor, what they're going to be bringing the safety monitor is their pass, so the safety monitor can verify that they've completed the requirements. Some will need technical support for different reasons, and so we're going to be training the safety monitors to do some of that. But those are the details that we're working on right now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Trustee Fishman?
Yeah. These plans are for all campuses, including public safety. So in public safety, when we have a rotating group of law enforcement officers who come in for professional development or whatever, they're gonna in the spring be required to be vaccinated. So it's all students, all teachers. Is that correct?
Yes.
All campuses.
Yes.
No exemptions. Okay. Did you? Okay. Well, that's good. That's the answer I wanted. I just want to make sure public safety is included in the fold in this.
Okay. Let's see. Anitra, your hand is still up. Did you want to say anything else, or?
Yes, I just had a follow-up question as well. When you when you say all, is there no religious or medical exemptions?
Here, go ahead, Gene.
So yes, to a vaccine requirement, we have the obligation, and we have the to in good faith and objectively consider any exception that's brought to us based in law, and go through the process that we would normally go through.
Okay, thank you. Because I knew of a student who was allergic to vaccinations, and I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
And I guess my my question as a board member, and just I want to make sure that I'd like to get regular reports. You know, again, I want to thank the administrators and Dr. Chong and everybody who's going to have to be figuring all this out, and all the staff who are going to be supporting it. But I would like, you know, say for example, you know, once this starts in the fall, you know, I would like to know, you know, how many, for example, are on campus because of vaccinations, how many are on campus because of testing. And I would, you know, you said you are going to be able to, you know, keep track of cases of COVID. And I think, again, if we're really serious about doing this to keep the campus safe, you know, that I'd like to, you know, kind of just know how it's working, and making sure that it is working and doing what it's supposed to be doing. And the same thing in January. It would be good, again, I don't need details, and certainly not anybody's personal information, but in terms of, you know, who's, you know, how's it going with people providing the vaccinations, and with maybe the, you know, the percentage of medical and religious exemptions we might be giving. And just, I mean, I assume that you're going to be providing it, but as a board, I think we would like to get that kind of information when it's available, so that we can, again, see how it's going.
Absolutely, we will committed to providing regular reports and tracking the number of students that are showing verification, the number of students that are being tested, the number of students that are testing positive. We're working on a report to be put on our webpage that shows the weekly composite reports of you know, students who do come down with the COVID, so, and which sites. So we're working on that as we speak.
Thanks. Anybody else have any other questions about the implementation, or thoughts, input? Okay. It has been a long meeting, and I want to thank everybody. It's actually pretty impressive. We still have 88 attendees who are listening in, and I want to say great thank you for persevering and being involved in this discussion. I think it's great that we still have so many people here with us. So thank you all for attending. And I will adjourn, and I do want to adjourn. Sandy Segala already mentioned the passing of Michael Garcia, and I do, as we adjourn, I think we should adjourn in his memory. Thank you. Again, thanks everybody for a good meeting.